Chapter 2100. Hua Chunhua snorted and said disdainfully, "You know best whether I'm overthinking it or not. Although we've separated from the family, you can't be so calculative as my sister-in-law, right? That girl and I even gave you jewelry that was worth at least a few taels of silver. Why, she gave you something good, so can't you make something delicious for her? You're still trying to make excuses." Hua Chunhua's words made Feng Zhangxia blush. What was she talking about? She made it sound like she was ungrateful. "Mother, I'll cook, okay? As long as little sister doesn't dislike my cooking, it's fine. I'm just afraid that little sister won't like it. After all, my cooking isn't good." Hua Chunhua waved at Feng Zhangxia. "Don't worry, your little sister isn't that picky. As long as the taste isn't bad, it's fine. After all, my cooking isn't good either. You're not much worse than me." Feng Zhangxia couldn't refuse, so she turned and went into the kitchen to cook. Zhao Xinhui didn't have any objections. In this old Zhao family, other than Zhao Yuner, everyone else cooked. Anyway, it wasn't good. Now that she was hungry, she would just make do with something to eat. Feng Zhangxia took out a few eggs, broke them and put them in a bowl. Then, she cut a few green peppers and mixed them together, preparing to make green pepper scrambled eggs. This was definitely a delicacy in the countryside. After all, the villagers were poor and couldn't even bear to eat an egg, let alone use it to make green pepper scrambled eggs. However, this bowl of green pepper scrambled egg white Zhao Xinhui made Feng Zhangxia feel a little indignant. She thought that if Zhao Xinhui liked it, she would definitely continue to make it for her. Only by making Zhao Xinhui feel that it tasted bad, and not eat her cooking next time would she be satisfied. Staring at the eggs in the bowl, Feng Zhangxia deliberately added more salt to make the scrambled egg saltier. It was so that Zhao Xinhui wouldn't eat it. After thinking about it, Feng Zhangxia's lips curled into a smile. She was looking forward to seeing Zhao Xinhui's reaction after eating it. Soon, Feng Zhangxia finished cooking scrambled eggs with green peppers and boiled a bowl of cabbage soup. However, there wasn't much oil in the soup. The rice in the pot was almost cooked. Together with the leftover pickles, Feng Zhangxia shouted at Zhao Xinhui, "Xiaomei, the food is ready. Come and eat." Zhao Xinhui replied indifferently, "Sister-in-law, bring it over to me." Feng Zhangxia was a little angry. This Zhao Xinhui really thought of himself as an ancestor. It was good enough that he cooked for her, but he still wanted her to bring it over personally. She was his sister-in-law after all. As a sister-in-law, shouldn't she respect her sister-in-law? How could he let his sister-in-law serve him? In addition, Feng Zhangxia had not served many people in her life. Zhao Xinhui's attitude made her very unhappy. "Mother, I'll bring it to Auntie," Jinju said when she saw Feng Zhangxia's expression darken. She knew that Feng Zhangxia was unwilling. Feng Zhangxia liked such a considerate daughter-in-law even more. Feng Zhangxia tugged the corners of her mouth and smiled. "Okay, Mother will go and scoop the food." "Okay, Mother." Feng Zhangxia filled a bowl with rice and placed the scrambled eggs on another plate. Then she took out an empty bowl and put some cabbage and pickles in it before passing it to Jinju. Jinju walked over to Zhao Xinhui with the plate in her hand, and said to Zhao Xinhui, "Auntie, let's eat." Chapter 2101. Jinju's expression froze. She knew that Zhao Xinhui was disdainful. Actually, this kind of food was already considered the best in the countryside. One had to know that people usually only ate some wild vegetables and no eggs. Feng Zhangxia was almost angered to death by Zhao Xinhui when she heard this. She had worked so hard to prepare this meal, but in the end, she was disdained like this. If she could say it, she would definitely say that it was up to her whether she wanted to eat or not. If she didn't want to eat, then so be it. Did she really think that she was still in the Huang residence, being served with delicacies every day? "Auntie, then do you want to eat?" Jinju asked weakly. Seeing that Zhao Xinhui didn't take the plate, she stood in front of Zhao Xinhui awkwardly. Zhao Xinhui rolled her eyes at Jinju. "What do you think? What kind of taste did Tianhu have to find such a daughter-in-law? It's fine if you're usually dissolute, but you're also a little stupid. Our old Zhao family has never seen such a stupid person." After being scolded by Zhao Xinhui, Jinju's face turned red. She opened her mouth but didn't know what to say. Zhao Xinhui muttered again. Although the food is a little bad, at least it's enough to fill my stomach. I'm starving to death now. What else can I eat other than this? After all, there was still a green pepper scrambled egg. Green pepper scrambled egg went better with rice, so she could still make do with it. As she spoke, Zhao Xinhui reluctantly took the food from Jinju's hands. Then, she placed it on the table and sat down to eat. Jinju returned to the kitchen with a disappointed expression. Feng Zhangxia pulled Jinju aside and comforted her. Juer, don't listen to your auntie. She only knows how to scold others. She doesn't even take a look at herself. Mother. Feng Zhangxia patted the back of Jinju's hand. All right, don't think so much. Just treat it as if you were bitten by a dog. Since you were bitten by a dog, you naturally shouldn't be so calculative with it. As long as mother knows that you're a good child, it's fine. Jinju looked at Feng Zhangxia emotionally. Actually, she didn't care what others thought of her as long as her parents-in-law and husband didn't misunderstand her. Putting away the disappointment on her face, Jinju pulled out a smile and nodded heavily. Yes, mother, I understand. It's good that you know. Feng Zhangxia also smiled. At this moment, Zhao Xinhui had just sat down to eat. He picked up a mouthful of egg and put it in his mouth. Before he could chew it, he quickly spat it out. Ba ba ba. Seeing Zhao Xinhui spit out the egg, Hu Chunhua hurriedly asked, Huier, what's wrong with you? Why did she vomit while eating? Eggs are also considered a good thing. You can't waste them. If you don't like to eat them, mother will eat them. Zhao Xinhui frowned and complained. Mother, this egg is too salty. I can't eat it. Is that so? Hu Chunhua asked suspiciously. Zhao Xinhui pushed the egg in front of Hu Chunhua and called out to Hu Chunhua. Mother, why don't you try it yourself and you'll know? Hu Chunhua picked up a piece and put it in her mouth. Like Zhao Xinhui, she quickly spat it out after eating it. Ba ba ba, it's indeed too salty. How much salt did you put in? Hu Chunhua muttered with a frown. If it was slightly salty, she could still make do with it. After all, she couldn't let the egg go to waste. However, she couldn't eat it at all. Before it even entered her mouth, she wanted to spit it out. Chapter 2102. Hu Chunhua asked angrily. Then what should we do? Huizer, I think we should just eat some cabbage. It's fine as long as it can fill our stomachs. Zhao Xinhui was immediately displeased. No, mother, I can't eat these dishes. I can't even eat a single bite. Hurry up and think of something for me. I'm starving to death. My body isn't good to begin with. Let's not talk about how much good food I can eat. Can it fill my stomachs? Seeing that Zhao Xinhui was pestering her again, Hu Chunhua said, It'll take you a long time to cook. I'll go to your fourth sister-in-law's place to see if there's any. Before going to Qian Zhuzhui's kitchen, Hu Chunhua first went to look for Feng Zhangxia and blamed her for the matter. Eldest daughter-in-law, did you do it on purpose? I asked you to cook for your little sister, but you put so much salt in the eggs. How can she eat them? Feng Zhangxia pretended to be wronged. Mother, what are you talking about? I've already cooked for my little sister. Why would I put more salt on purpose? But if she can't eat them, wouldn't it be a waste? Mother, I've already told you that I'm not good at cooking. The dishes I cook are either bland or salty. What can I do if you don't believe me? Don't put on an act in front of me. Do you really think that this old woman doesn't know anything? Mother. Eldest daughter-in-law, I know that you're a calculative person. Since you can't bear to part with it, then forget it. I can't be bothered to covet your things. Now that Qing Yuan has opened a restaurant, you can bring Hui, or to live a good life. When that time comes, don't even think about currying favor with them. As Hu Chunhua spoke, she glanced at Feng Zhangxia, then turned around angrily and walked towards Qian Zhuzhui's kitchen. Feng Zhangxia pursed her lips and muttered, Who cares? Isn't it just opening a restaurant? Even if the business is booming, it doesn't mean that we have to bring Zhao Xinhui to live a good life. What's the point of showing off now? Moreover, once her sky dragon passed the exam and became a high-ranking official, her good days would come. Why would she need to curry favor with others? This old woman was just talking nonsense. She was really daydreaming. Feng Zhangxia still felt that she had done the right thing this time. No matter what, that old woman and Zhao Xinhui would never ask her for food again. Little Ju, let's get ready to eat. Tonight, I just made 2 dishes to fill our stomachs. Tomorrow, let's go to the restaurant and eat to our heart's content. Feng Zhangxia was in a good mood and greeted Jinju. Jinju responded, not knowing what to say. She felt that there was something weird going on between the members of old Zhao's family. On the surface, they seemed to be fine, but behind their backs, they seemed to be fighting. Hua Chunhua wandered into Qian Zhonghu's kitchen. At this time, Qian Zhonghu had just finished cooking. Hua Chunhua craned her neck to take a look. She wanted to see what delicious food Qian Zhuzha had made. He glanced at the dishes on the stove. They were all very simple dishes. However, there was a dish of steamed fish. Hua Chunhua's eyes immediately lit up. Although to the villagers, fish was not as good as meat, it was still something that had been dipped in meat. Naturally, it was better than meat. Qian Zhonghu's steamed fish looked very good. It should taste good too. If she brought it over to Zhao Xinhui to eat, Zhao Xinhui would definitely be happy. When Qian Zhonghu saw Hua Chunhua coming over, she hurriedly asked Hua Chunhua, "Mother, what's wrong? Why are you here?" Chapter 2103. Qian Zhurong was not a foolish person. Although she was a good person, she was not as honest and straightforward as Liang Jinxiao, who would easily be taken advantage of. She was shrewd where she should be, so she rarely suffered losses at old Zhao's house. Now that Hua Chunhua wanted to take advantage of her, Qian Zhurong naturally would not back down so easily. Qian Zhurong pursed her lips and said, "Mother, we don't have any good dishes at home tonight, so we only made some fish to nourish the children's bodies. They made a fuss for a long time, so we went to buy them a fish to satisfy their cravings today. Also, Tianyu and second brother, we have to bring them to eat. We don't have any other good dishes at home, so at least some fish and fish soup is something that can go well with the meal. Especially second brother. He's lying in bed now, injured beyond recognition. We really should get something to nourish him. Otherwise, I think his body will get worse and worse." Hua Chunhua did not care about these things at all. Instead, she disdainfully said to Qian Zhurong, "We're going to eat at the big restaurant in Yang City tomorrow. What do you want to eat? There will be fish and meat, so the children can eat more to satisfy their cravings. Tonight's steamed fish can be eaten by your little sister. Fourth brother's wife, you know that the children of Qin Yuan invited us to eat because of your little sister. Otherwise, do you think they would have taken advantage of us for nothing?" Hua Chunhua's meaning was clear. Since the fourth branch could eat at the restaurant tomorrow thanks to Zhao Xinhui, it was not too much to give up a fish now. Qian Zhurong glanced at the bowl of fish on the plate, and was still reluctant to give it up. She stammered, "But mother, you know that Tianyu and second brother are very picky. I'm afraid they won't eat unless there's a meat dish." Hua Chunhua snorted softly. "If they don't want to eat, then forget it. Why do you have to drag them to eat? Tianyu has been spoiled. Now that second brother's wife is not here, you don't have to think of ways to make good food for her. As for second brother, why don't you think about what you've done and still want to serve him well?" Now that Hua Chunhua had said that, Qian Zhuzha didn't know what to say. At the same time, he knew that he would be scolded by Hua Chunhua again if he didn't give it to her. Now that he thought about it, it was just a fish, and he had only spent 4 copper coins to buy it. So what if he let Zhao Xinhui eat it? When they arrived at the restaurant tomorrow, how many good things would they not be able to eat? He could save some space in his stomach for tomorrow. Thus Qian Zhurong replied, "All right, mother. Let's give it to little sister then. But can you deliver some food to second brother? I saw that second brother was in a bad mood, so I didn't dare to send him such a meal. I was afraid that he would criticize me." Hua Chunhua rolled her eyes and said, "All right then. Scoop the food and I'll send it over." "All right." Qian Zhonghui responded and quickly filled a bowl with rice. She picked up some vegetables and salted vegetables and handed it to Hua Chunhua. After Hua Chunhua took it, she eagerly walked towards the second branch's room. At this moment, Zhao Wenshui was still lying on the bed, half dead. After lying down for so long, his injuries had healed and he could even move a little. However, he felt that his body was even weaker. It was probably caused by his injuries. Chapter 2104. Hua Chunhua was a little angry when she saw Zhao Wenshui like this. What kind of lousy son did she give birth to? People said that raising a child would prepare one for one's old age, but she still had to take care of her son when she was old. How could she be like this? Of course, the good thing was that not all of her sons were like Zhao Wenshui. Her eldest, third, and fourth sons were all pretty good. It was only her second son who loved to cause trouble on a daily basis. She didn't know how much he had embarrassed the Zhao family. Now he was lying on the bed half dead and had to be supported by her when he ate. Faced with Hua Chunhua's sullen face, Zhao Wenshui's heart tightened. Then he muttered pitifully, "Mother, what's wrong with you? Just help me. I really can't sit up. My body hurts so much, and I'm so weak that I can't support much strength." Hua Chunhua glared at Zhao Wenshui angrily. After all, he was her son. Even if she disliked him, she couldn't ignore him like other people. It would have been fine if she hadn't seen Zhao Wenshui. As the saying went, out of sight, out of mind. Now that she saw him, she couldn't just ignore him. She could only walk to the bed and help Zhao Wenshui up so that Zhao Wenshui could sit against the edge of the bed. After helping Zhao Wenshui, Hua Chunhua continued to scold him unwillingly. "What sins have I committed to raise such a son? He's really a debt collector. He only knows how to torture me." Zhao Wenshui pursed his lips aggrievedly. "Mother, do you dislike me? Look at you. Who wouldn't dislike you? You're just like a ghost. Would you become like this if you stopped? Mother, I'm already like this. What are you still talking about? If Big Brother didn't beat me up, I wouldn't be so miserable." Hua Chunhua snorted coldly. "You have the nerve to blame your big brother. Why don't you think about what you've done? Mother." Hua Chunhua was too lazy to talk to Zhao Wenshui. She directly handed the food to Zhao Wenshui. "Eat dinner. Second brother, you don't need me to feed you, do you?" "Mother, it's not convenient for me. Why don't you feed me?" Zhao Wenshui smiled fawningly. Hua Chunhua could not control her emotions. She scolded Zhao Wenshui, "You're really an idiot. You're not only injured, but your hands are also disabled. You even need someone to feed you. If you don't want to eat, then forget it. I'll take it away for you. You can continue to starve. It's not the life of a master, yet you treat me like one. You're always thinking of getting others to serve you." Seeing that Hua Chunhua was about to take the food away, Zhao Wenshui hurriedly said, "Mother, can't I eat by myself? I'm about to starve to death. If I don't eat now, I'll be finished." Hua Chunhua finally calmed down and handed the food to Zhao Wenshui. "Come eat." Zhao Wenshui immediately became unhappy when he saw the food in the bowl. He questioned Hua Chunhua. "Mother, fourth sister-in-law said that there would be fish to eat tonight. Why don't I see any fish? How can I eat such food? There's no oil in the food at all. I can't swallow it at all." Hua Chunhua unhappily replied, "You're already like this and you're still so picky. It's good enough that there's something to eat. Don't tell me you expect me to make you delicacies? Now that your wife has run away, if it weren't for your fourth sister-in-law still paying attention to you, I think you would have died in the room. No matter how bad the food is, you can still make do with it. At least you won't starve to death after eating it." Chapter 2105. When Hua Chunhua saw how concerned Zhao Wenshui was, she finally understood why Qian Zurio asked her to deliver the food to Zhao Wenshui's room. If Qian Zurio had delivered the food herself, Zhao Wenshui would have to pester Qian Zurio again and nag her nonstop. Hua Chunhua replied with a straight face, "Your fourth sister-in-law did make fish." "Mother, where is the fish?" Zhao Wenshui impatiently asked. Hua Chunhua's lips twitched. "She gave it to your little sister." Zhao Wenshui was instantly unhappy. "Mother, how can you give it to little sister? Why did little sister eat the food that fourth sister-in-law made? Aren't you in charge of little sister's meals? Can't you just cook for little sister? Why did you have to take the fish away from fourth sister-in-law's room?" Zhao Wenshui's heart ached at the thought of the fish that he could have eaten flying into Zhao Xinhui's mouth. He thought about how he hadn't eaten anything good during this period of time, and how he had waited for Qian Zurio to make a fish for him. Great, now it was snatched away by Zhao Xinhui. "I was too lazy to cook today, so I let your little sister freeload a meal at your fourth sister-in-law's place. There is only one fish dish left at home and your little sister is picky, so I naturally gave the fish to her. Hua Chunhua explained impatiently. Zhao Wenshui was even angrier when he didn't know the reason. With a red face, he angrily complained in front of Hua Chunhua. Mother, you are so biased. You only know how to leave the good food for little sister. You don't even think about me, your son. Isn't little sister eating and drinking good food every day enough? Now you have to take away the fish that I was looking forward to. Am I supposed to eat this kind of food? What's wrong with her making do with it? She has the most comfortable life in the entire family. Mother, you have to serve her every day. The more Zhao Wenshui spoke, the more aggrieved he felt. Other mothers doted on their sons and knew to leave good food and drink for their sons. However, it was different in his family. Zhao Wenshui naturally couldn't understand why Hua Chunhua treasured Zhao Xinhui so much. If she was like other families with many sons and daughters, she wouldn't be so precious. Hua Chunhua said coldly, Brat, how can you be compared to your little sister? You only know how to cause trouble for this old woman, but your little sister is different. She brought back so much money, so it's only right for me to provide her with good food and drinks. Weren't all the good things she ate and spent her own money? If you have the ability, you can't have anything good food? But you don't have that ability. Don't compare yourself to your little sister. It's good enough that you have food. If you're picky, you'll probably starve to death in a few days. After hearing Hua Chunhua's reprimand, Zhao Wenshui still felt aggrieved. In the end, wasn't it all because of money? If he had that much money, he wouldn't have thought about getting food from old Zhao's family. He would have just hired someone to cook for him all day long. Mother, you're biased. Forget it. I'll eat, okay? Zhao Wenshui held the bowl and ate angrily. Anyway, he knew that it was impossible to get the fish back. He had to make do with it now. At least he wouldn't go hungry. Hua Chunhua put away the disdainful expression on her face. She waited for Zhao Wenshui to finish eating so she could take the bowl out. Chapter 2106. Even though he was lying in bed and in the room at the time, the people in the room were very happy. But at that time the people in the courtyard were very happy. He also vaguely heard that Qin Yuan's restaurant had opened, and wanted to invite the Zhao family over for a meal. In a restaurant in Yang City, there had to be good food and wine to entertain them. Meat dishes were not to be missed either. Zhao Wenshui felt that he urgently needed to eat good food to nourish his body, so he couldn't miss out on such a lively event. Thus, he smiled slyly and said to Hua Chunhua, Mom, take me with you to the restaurant tomorrow. Hua Chunhua rolled her eyes at Zhao Wenshui. You want to eat in this state? I think you should stop tormenting yourself. Zhao Wenshui panicked at Hua Chunhua's refusal. He looked at Hua Chunhua bitterly and begged, Mom, just take me with you. It's not like we're using our family's money. One more person won't make a difference. Although Zhao Wenshui's words made sense, Hua Chunhua still said reluctantly, It's troublesome to take you with us. Look at you, lying on the bed with such serious injuries, who would be able to carry you there? Besides, even if you're at the table, no one dares to get close to you. What if they hurt you? Who knows what to do? Hua Chunhua's words meant that she disliked Zhao Wenshui and didn't want to take Zhao Wenshui with them. However, Zhao Wenshui wanted to take him with them. Mom, just let fifth brother carry me. Aren't we going to take the ox cart? Just let fifth brother carry me on the ox cart. My injury is better now, so I'll be fine if I pay attention to these things. Mom, I just want to sit down and have a meal with all of you and drink some wine. We can't all go with old Zhao and leave me alone at home, right? Hua Chunhua was too lazy to say anything more to Zhao Wenshui. Okay. Don't talk about it anymore. Don't think about those unrealistic things. Since you're so badly injured, you should stay at home and recuperate. Anyway, Brother Ming won't bring you along to eat. Zhao Wenshui was so anxious that he almost cried. He pursed his lips and said, Mother, how can you be like this? How can you be so heartless? I'm your son. Why don't you bring me along when there's something good? Hua Chunhua glared at Zhao Wenshui. Don't make a fuss. I'm afraid you'll die on the way. Can't you just lie down in the house? I think if you go out with us, your big brother will give you a beating when he sees you. At the mention of Zhao Wenshui, Zhao Wenshui immediately cowered. Shivering, she could only bitterly reply, "Mother, if you don't want to go, then don't go. But since you're going to eat, can you pack some for me so that I can have a taste of it?" Hua Chuanhua's eyes turned. She felt that Zhao Wenshui's suggestion was good. She used the excuse of bringing some for Zhao Wenshui and asked Qin Yuan and the others to pack more for her. The rest would be left for Zhao Xinhui to eat slowly. "Okay, just lie down in the house. I'll bring some for you tomorrow." "Okay, mother. You must remember. Don't forget. Otherwise, I'll be the only one who can't have a good meal. It's so pitiful." "Don't worry. My memory isn't that bad. I'll remember it for you." Zhao Wenshui repeatedly reminded her several times before he was relieved. Hua Chunhua left Zhao Wenshui's house and went back to rest early. Chapter 2107. Although they would feel a little hungry at night, they would feel better after a good night's sleep. Naturally, they wouldn't feel hungry when they were asleep. The next morning, old Zhao's family woke up early and prepared to go to Yang City together. It was a long journey to Yang City on foot, but no one planned to walk there. Instead, they woke up early and drove the ox cart. Hence, the family took the ox cart to Yang City. Zhao Yin's family was different from the rest of old Zhao's family. The rest of the family usually didn't have anything good to eat. Now that they had a chance to eat and drink for free, they were naturally happy and couldn't wait to rush over. They wanted to eat the food in the restaurant as soon as possible. However, Zhao Yin's family was different. Zhao Yin's family usually ate very good food. They didn't want to take advantage of this and couldn't wait to eat. As usual, they woke up naturally. They drove Xiao Mao and Mu Lianfeng's carriage and followed old Zhao's family to Yang City. They went to find the restaurant opened by Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan. This restaurant could only be said to be of average quality. The market was also average. After all, they didn't have much capital and could only rent a shop like this. Yang City was more prosperous. There were many other luxurious restaurants. Of course, they were all for the rich. Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan's restaurant was already very grand and luxurious in the eyes of the villagers. For the villagers, they couldn't even set up a small stall in Yang City, let alone open a restaurant. No matter how hard they worked, they couldn't earn money faster than doing business. Old Zhao's family looked at the newly decorated restaurant and began to click their tongues in admiration. Aya Ping and her husband are really amazing. They opened such a big restaurant. How much money do they earn in a day? Feng Zhangxia stared at Zhao Ping's restaurant with envy. Zhao Xinhui snorted. "Sister-in-law, how much money he earns has nothing to do with you. Anyway, you don't have to worry about it." Feng Zhangxia pursed her lips awkwardly and said, "Little sister, I was just saying it casually. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't." Zhao Xinhui smiled. "It's good that you know." Looking at such a big restaurant, Zhao Xinhui's eyes were filled with pride. Others might not know, but she knew very well that this restaurant was opened by Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan together, but she was the one who paid for it. Later on, when she was together with Qin Yuan, she would be in control of the restaurant's income. Zhao Xinhui was in a good mood when he thought about how he could live a prosperous life with this restaurant in the future. The other members of old Zhao's family had not seen much of the world. As soon as they entered the restaurant, they looked left and right curiously. The children couldn't help but reach out their hands and touch everything around them. With so many people here, Zhao Ping had to act like a lady boss and direct the restaurant's hired workers to work. Because the restaurant needed to be busy, she arranged for a few waiters and a few people to work in the kitchen. She spent some money to hire a good chef, just to make sure that the dishes tasted good. After all, the restaurant was about taste. Customers would only be willing to come if the dishes were delicious. They were not a high-end restaurant, so they could only rely on taste to win. In addition, their pig offal was a specialty dish, so their business would not be too bad in the future. Chapter 2108. Old Zhao's family members also agreed very respectfully, making Zhao Ping burst with joy. At this time, seeing the children jumping around and touching in the restaurant, Zhao Ping was a little angry and reprimanded them. "Be careful. The chairs and stools are all new. If you break them, are you going to pay for them?" Seeing Zhao Ping put her hands on her hips and look fierce. The children were frightened. Zhao Tianyu was usually very arrogant and domineering. Compared to the children of the fourth branch, Zhao Tianyu made Zhao Ping, stick out her tongue, and then he said somewhat rudely, "Ugly, why are you so fierce?" Zhao Ping suddenly became angry. What she hated the most was others calling her ugly. If it was an adult who said it, it would be fine, but a child like Zhao Tianyu also came to complain about her. He was simply too audacious and tired of living. Zhao Ping, angrily walked to Zhao Tianyu, grabbed his ear, and fiercely scolded him. "Who are you calling ugly?" Zhao Tianyu struggled and complained about the pain. Then he angrily said to Zhao Ping, "I'm calling you. You're ugly. I didn't say anything wrong. If you're not ugly, then what are you? If you don't believe me, ask others and see if they say you're ugly." "Good for you." Zhao Ping, became even angrier. He was just a little brat, but he dared to be so fierce in front of her. It seemed that she had to teach him a lesson. If she didn't teach this kind of brat a lesson, she wouldn't know what was wrong. Zhao Ping patted Zhao Tianyu's head a few times. "You brat who doesn't know the rules. No matter what, I'm still your cousin. Who do you think you are?" Zhao Tianyu cried out in pain. Then he turned to Hu Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan and asked for help. Grandma, save me. The ugly woman is bullying me." Hu Chunhua was originally looking at the restaurant, but when she heard Zhao Tianyu's cries, she shifted her attention back to Zhao Ping, who was dealing with Zhao Tianyu. No matter what, Zhao Tianyu was Hu Chunhua's grandson. Hu Chunhua defended him. "Well, Ping girl, I think we should forget about it. Tianyu is a child. Don't be calculative with him. Children speak without thinking." Zhao Baoshan added, "That's right. He's just a kid who doesn't know any better. Ping, you're the older sister. Don't be so calculative with Tianyu." Zhao Ping was not in a good mood. Looking at Zhao Tianyu, she was very angry and replied unhappily, "So what if he's a kid? Can a kid be so insensible and do bad things? I'm teaching him a lesson for his own good. I want him to learn the rules." As Zhao Ping spoke, she slapped Zhao Tianyu's head a few times. The strength of her slaps was not small. She was not worried about hurting Zhao Tianyu at all. Zhao Baoshan and Hu Chunhua stood at the side, not knowing how to persuade her. Today they were going to eat at Zhao Ping's restaurant. No matter what, they should give in to Zhao Ping. They could not say too much, lest Zhao Ping got angry. What if she kicked them out before they could eat? After getting a free meal, no one wanted to give it up so easily. Hu Chunhua looked at Zhao Tianyu with heartache. She muttered in her heart, "Zhao Tianyu is really too naughty. Doesn't he know what occasion it is today? Does he have to offend Zhao Ping, to be happy?" When Zhao Tianyu saw that Hu Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan did not say anything and had no intention of helping him, he tactfully stopped shouting. He also did not call Zhao Ping ugly. Chapter 2109. He used to be arrogant and despotic, but that was because he had Li Chuiying's protection. As long as Li Chuiying was around, no one could bully him. But now that he no longer had Li Chuiying's protection, Hu Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan did not have the latter's intention. If he continued to cause trouble, he would only be at a disadvantage. After all, he was not a fool and knew how to lose face. It was obvious that everyone was on Zhao Ping's side. Seeing that Zhao Tianyu was obedient, Zhao Ping let go of her hand and pushed Zhao Tianyu to the side. "If I hear you call me ugly again, I'll beat you up every time I see you," Zhao Ping warned. Zhao Tianyu was so scared that he shrank behind Hu Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan. Hu Chunhua also warned Zhao Tianyu, "Tianyu, don't cause trouble again. If you make your cousin angry, you won't get to eat a single piece of meat later." Hu Chunhua's threat hit Zhao Tianyu's weakness. He was looking forward to eating meat. Not giving him meat was worse than being beaten up. Zhao Tianyu hurriedly replied, "Grandma, I understand. I won't dare to make my cousin angry again." "That's good." Tian Zhenhua also warned her children, "You guys be careful too. Don't cause too much trouble. If your cousin is unhappy, no one will be able to eat good food." The children were all very careful, afraid that they would cause more trouble. Zhao Yin'er and her family followed behind. Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua got out of the car first and stood in front of the restaurant. They were a little surprised. They originally thought that Xiaoping and Qin Yuan's restaurant was just a small one and not very grand. Now that they were here, they realized that the restaurant was actually quite big. Although it could not be compared to the luxurious restaurants in Sun City, it was still not bad. How could an ordinary family have so much money to open such a restaurant? Moreover, if he continued to operate it, the daily income would definitely not be small. It seemed that he had underestimated his daughter and son-in-law. Zhao Wenhua whispered into Liang Jinxiao's ear, "Yun'er's mother, Pinger's restaurant is not bad." Liang Jinxiao nodded and replied, "Yes, it's not bad. It's quite big. Ping, and that kid from Qin Yuan must have made a lot of money recently. It's fine as long as she's living well. Compared to before, she's much better now. You can worry less in the future. You don't have to worry about her not having enough to eat after she marries into a family Qin family. Well, this is her own good fortune. But I don't care whether she earns money or not. That's her own business. No matter how rich she is, I won't try to curry favor with her," Liang Jinxiao said calmly. Liang Jinxiao did not show much excitement when he heard that Zhao Pinger had opened such a big restaurant. Zhao Wenhua knew that Liang Jinxiao held a grudge against Zhao Pinger, so he did not say anything. The family walked towards the restaurant. Zhao Yun'er, Mu Lianfeng, and Dao Du alighted from the carriage. Zhao Yun'er was carrying Tian Tian in her arms. The child was still young. Perhaps she was carsick from sitting in the carriage, but she seemed a little uncomfortable. Zhao Yun'er kept coaxing her. After coaxing her to Yang City, Tian Tian fell asleep in her arms. Mu Lianfeng carefully helped Zhao Yun'er down and nagged Zhao Yun'er. "Yun'er, be gentle. Don't wake Tian Tian up." Zhao Yun'er smiled. "Yes. Look at how nervous you are. Actually, it doesn't matter if she wakes up. This child is not troublesome. It's easier to take care of her." Chapter 21:10. After taking care of a child for a while, Mu Lianfeng knew that it was not easy to take care of a child, so his heart ached for Zhao Yun. It's okay." Zhao Yun'er smiled. Her smile was tranquil. Looking at the happiness on Zhao Yun'er's face, Mu Lianfeng's lips also curled up into a smile. Now that he had Dao Du and Tian Tian with him, Mu Lianfeng felt that this was the warmth of a family. Being able to stay with Zhao Yun was his greatest happiness. The few of them entered the restaurant together. It was the first day of the restaurant's opening. For business people, the first day of opening was a joyous occasion. The restaurant was decorated with some red cloth, and they were even preparing to set off firecrackers and get wedding candies. Of course, there were many discounts on food and wine a few days before the opening, especially on the first day. They gave out a 20% discount, and even gave out free gifts. When news of this kind of discount was released, many people came to watch the fun. In addition, people wanted to join in the fun. Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan naturally did not think of such a method. According to Zhao Ping, they would only give out a 50% discount on the first day of opening. The 20% discount would only cover the cost. How could business people let themselves lose money? After Ma Xiaofeng's persuasion, Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan finally agreed. The most important thing in business was to make a name for oneself. If there were more discounts on the first day, people would come to take a look and try it. Their special pig offal would definitely be popular. As long as the food and wine tasted good, people might come again after eating it once. Others had not eaten it before. Their restaurant was not a high-end restaurant. It was not very eye-catching among the many restaurants in Yang City. It would be difficult to attract people who had not eaten it before. As for Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan, they were completely focused on the few days of interest. In fact, for the future, not to mention not making money on the first few days of opening, it was fine to lose more money. If they could attract customers, they would earn back the money with a few more customers in the future. Indeed, as Ma Xiaofeng said, many people in Yang City came over when they heard about the restaurant's promotion. Originally, he was planning to go to another restaurant to eat. He thought that Zhao Pinger's restaurant had a 20% discount, and that it was a mid-range restaurant, so it wasn't bad. He could also get gifts. Since he could spend less and get more benefits, he would definitely choose to eat at this restaurant. Furthermore, Zhao Pinger's restaurant didn't look too shabby. It wasn't a small restaurant that wasn't presentable. Seeing that it was about time, Zhao Pinger called out to Qin Yuan and said, "Big brother Yuan, go set off the firecrackers." Many people came. Let's prepare to open. Zhao, brother Yuan, I'm a woman. How would I dare to set off the firecrackers? You're a man. Of course. Qin Yuan said unhappily. You're scared? You're scared of me. But I'm not? What if I get hit by the explosion? I heard from Ma Xiaofeng that your uncle was hit by the explosion when he set off the firecrackers. He had to lie in bed for a long time. Qin Yuan was thinking that it would be fine if the explosion hit him. He could bear with it and it would be over. At most, he would be like Zhao Wenshui, lying in bed and resting for a period of time. But if the explosion hit his face, then he would be done for. He relied on this handsome face. If his handsome face was gone, little Ant might not like him anymore. Hence, he had to protect this face well. Chapter 21:11. Qin Yuan caught a glimpse of old Zhao's men and said to Zhao Ping, there are so many freeloaders at your house. It's not too much to ask them to set off some fireworks, right? Your grandfather, eldest uncle, father, and fourth uncle can all do it. Zhao Ping's eyes darted around. She saw Qin Yuan touch his handsome face again. What's more, aren't you afraid that your man's face will be disfigured? Zhao Ping immediately panicked when she heard Qin Yuan's words. She only got together with Qin Yuan because she fancied Qin Yuan's face. If Qin Yuan's face was disfigured, it would be a terrible thing for her. Zhao Ping hurriedly said, Okay. Big brother Yuan, you'd better not set off the fireworks. Your face is so handsome. It's really a pity. I'll ask my eldest uncle and fourth uncle to set it off. Since we're freeloading, I'll definitely help you with this small favor. Go quickly. Qin Yuan waved at Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping entered the restaurant and greeted Zhao Wenshi and Zhao Wentao, asking them to help set off the firecrackers. After all, gifts blind the eyes. Setting off the firecrackers was a small matter for the whole family to come over for a big meal. If they refused, it would be too much. Zhao Wenshi said, "Fourth brother, go set it off. I was injured by the firecrackers last time, and am very scared. I can't set them off." Zhao Wentao was still very easy to talk to. He knew that Zhao Wenshi was indeed badly injured by the firecrackers last time, so he agreed. Then I'll go set them off. As he spoke, he walked out of the restaurant and went to the entrance of the restaurant. Since it was the opening day, Zhao Ping was not stingy when it came to firecrackers. She bought a very large firecracker. After Zhao Wentao ordered it, the firecrackers began to explode. The loud noise was accompanied by the smell of gunpowder that wafted into the house. However, the people outside who wanted to join in the fun were very happy. Zhao Ping was carrying a bag with some candies in it. Zhao Ping grabbed a handful and scattered them on the ground. Many people came over to snatch them. But at the same time, it was also very lively. Looking at the situation, the restaurant was probably full of customers today, and they would be busy for the next few days. The loud sound of firecrackers woke Tian Tian up. Tian Tian opened her sleepy eyes and squeaked at Zhao Yun'er. Looking at Tian Tian's quiet and beautiful face, Zhao Yun'er smiled and coaxed her. Tian Tian, you can't sleep, right? Were you scared just now? Yeah. Tian Tian waved her little hand. Zhao Yun'er couldn't understand what Tian Tian was trying to say. Dao lay on Zhao Yun'er's lap and looked at Tian Tian in Zhao Yun'er's arms. He chuckled and said, "Mother," with Dao protecting Tian Tian. Tian Tian won't be scared. Dao isn't afraid of firecrackers? Zhao Yun'er asked jokingly. Zhao Yun'er remembered that Dao used to be afraid of firecrackers. Was he trying to be brave now? Dao hesitated for a moment, then puffed out his chest and said to Zhao Yun'er, "I'm not afraid." In order to protect little sister Tian Tian, Dao isn't afraid of anything. Although Dao was only a child of a few years old, at this moment, he had the bearing of a man. Zhao Yun'er looked at him and smiled happily. As they spoke, the firecrackers outside were almost finished. Dao wanted to go out and grab some candies to join in the fun, but he was stopped by Zhao Yun'er. Chapter 21:12. But it wasn't worth it just for some candy. If they wanted to eat candy, they could just spend some money to buy it. Their family didn't lack money now. Daudu, it's too crowded outside. It's not safe. You'll get hurt if you fall. Mother will buy you whatever you want to eat later. Daudu looked at the bustling scene outside, and a hint of disappointment appeared in his eyes. Actually, he didn't really want to eat candy. There were so many delicious things at home that he couldn't finish them all. Now was not like before. In the past, he really did like to eat candy. He just felt that it was very lively outside and wanted to go out and join in the fun. But his mother didn't want him to go out, so he obediently stayed inside. Okay, mother. Then Daudu won't snatch the candy. Daudu said in a soft voice. Zhao Yin'er smiled and praised. Daudu is so obedient. A sweet smile appeared on Daudu's little face. Old Zhao's few older children had already rushed out when they saw that the candy was being scattered. They joined the crowd in snatching the candy. The one who snatched the most was Zhao Tianyu. Just like before, he was a little tyrant at home. After this round of snatching, he had a lot of candy in his pocket. At this moment, Liang Jinfen was shopping with his family on the streets. They just happened to pass by Zhao Ping'er's restaurant. When they saw so many people crowded together, they couldn't help but stretch their heads to take a look. Someone shouted from the side, "Hurry up and snatch it, hurry up and snatch it." Liang Jinfen couldn't hold back his curiosity. He pulled the person beside him and asked, "What are you guys snatching in such a hurry?" The person who was pulled aside casually explained, "This restaurant just opened. It's the first day and it's just for the fun. They're scattering candy now. We're going to snatch the candy." After saying that, he pulled his arm and said, "Stop pulling me. I have to hurry up. If I'm late, I won't be able to snatch it." Liang Jinfen's eyes lit up when he heard that. Candy was good stuff. Most people wouldn't be willing to buy it. It tasted sweet. If such a good thing could be obtained for free, wouldn't he be a fool not to snatch it? Liang Jinfen quickly tugged at Su Lady and said, "What are you waiting for? Didn't you hear that you can snatch the candy? Let's go and snatch it." Su Lady was stunned for a moment before he caught up with Liang Jinfen and ran towards the crowd. Fortunately, she managed to grab a few candies before the game ended. Liang Jinfen put the candy into his pocket with satisfaction. Although it wasn't much, at least there were a few. Anyway, it was free money. Just as Liang Jinfen was about to leave, Su Lady tugged at Liang Jinfen's hand and said, "Mother, isn't that Zhao Ping? Liang Jinfen was stunned. He could not help but spit out a few words. That's impossible, right? However, as soon as he said that, he saw Zhao Ping. Even if Liang Jinfen didn't want to believe it, he had no choice but to believe it when he saw Zhao Ping. Liang Jinfen rubbed his eyes and opened his mouth. He stared at Zhao Ping in shock. "Is that really Zhao Ping?" Su Lady said from the side. "Mother, both of us saw it. How can it be wrong? Besides, Zhao Ping is so ugly. How many people look like her? There can't be anyone who looks like her, right?" Liang Jinfen thought about it and agreed. There weren't many people who were as ugly and unique as Zhao Ping. But then, did that mean that this restaurant was opened by Zhao Ping? Chapter 21:13. How could a pauper like her open a restaurant? It might be possible if her elder sister's family opened it, but Liang Jinfen felt that Zhao Ping did not have the ability to open a restaurant. Could it be that Ping girl opened it? Liang Jinfen muttered. Su Lady said, "She's acting like a lady boss. Who else could it be? Could it be that she's here to help?" Su Lady shook her head. If she's here to help, then it's someone else's restaurant. Why is she so happy? It can't be, right? After listening to Su Lady's analysis, the possibility of this restaurant being opened by Zhao Ping was very high. Liang Jinfen suddenly felt an indescribable pain in her heart. In the past, she flaunted her superiority in front of Liang Jinxiao's family. At that time, her family's life was indeed better than that of Liang Jinxiao's family. However, things suddenly changed this year. She did not know what happened to her elder sister's family, but they suddenly became rich. If only her family became rich, then it would be fine. At least Zhao Ping had married into a poor family. She could mock her and feel superior. Otherwise, her family would not be able to compare to her elder sister's family. Now even Zhao Ping was going to be rich. How could this be allowed? If this continued, their family would never be able to catch up to her eldest sister's family. The gap between them and her eldest sister's family would only grow bigger. How could it be? Staring at the rather large restaurant, Liang Jinfen's eyes were filled with jealousy. Such a large restaurant would definitely cost a lot of money to rent. In the future, she would be able to earn a lot of money. Then because of this, Liang Jinfen was very upset. How could she let Zhao Ping earn so much money? How infuriating. Just as Liang Jinfen was secretly angry, Su Lady tugged at Liang Jinfen and said, "Mother, look, aunt, uncle, cousin Yan and old Zhao's family are all sitting in the restaurant. It looks like they're going to eat there." Liang Jinfen caught a glimpse and became even more jealous. If they had a good meal in such a large restaurant, how much meat would they be able to eat? She had not eaten meat for a long time and desperately wanted to eat meat. Looking at such a lively scene, Liang Jinfen's eyes turned, and she hurriedly turned back to drag Su Zhaodi to the front. Su Lady was puzzled. "Mother, what are you doing?" Liang Jinfen snorted and replied, "Since this is Ping Er's restaurant, and today is the first day of its opening, why don't we go and freeload?" Su Zhaodi frowned and asked, "Mother, that's not good. Won't they despise us for eating plain rice?" Liang Jinfen glared at Su Zhaodi. "You're thinking too much. What does it matter what others say? As long as we can eat a meal, it's fine. There's plenty of fish and meat. We can eat more and take advantage of more, right? They've already opened a restaurant. If we can't even bear to part with a meal, then don't you think we're being too petty?" Su Zhaodi was still hesitant. Actually, she was not as thick-skinned as Liang Jinfen. If they opened a restaurant, they could only come if they invited them. If they didn't invite them, they would be taking advantage of others and would inevitably be despised. After all, Zhao Ping'er did not invite their family this time. How could they come uninvited? Chapter 21:14. Su Lady persuaded Su Zhaodi, "Sister, don't think about it. Come eat with us. Mother is right. They've already opened a restaurant. Why would they be stingy with our meal? Your body is weak. Eat more nourishing food today. If you miss this opportunity, you won't have it again." Since Liang Jinfen and Su Lady had both said so, Su Zhaodi didn't want to dawdle. When the time came, she wouldn't be the only one who would be disliked. Since she was going to be disliked anyway, she didn't think much of it. Liang Jinfen squeezed through the crowd and went up to Zhao Ping. She hurriedly greeted her enthusiastically. Isn't this Ping girl?" Zhao Ping glanced at Liang Jinfen with an indifferent attitude. After a sound of agreement, she didn't say anything else. She didn't like this second aunt of hers. Usually, she liked to blabber and talk about nonsense. When she had married into Qin Yuan, her second aunt had scolded and mocked her for a long time. Now, she couldn't be nice to Liang Jinfen. Liang Jinfen was thick-skinned. Even if Zhao Ping'er ignored her, she could still shamelessly lick Zhao Ping'er's boots. "Ping'er girl, I see that this restaurant has opened and you're managing it. Could it be that your family owns this restaurant?" Zhao Ping'er proudly raised her chin and boasted, "Yes, my husband and I were the ones who announced it. What's wrong?" When Liang Jinfen heard Zhao Ping'er's words, she felt even more disappointed. Then, she forced herself to endure the loneliness and discomfort. She curled her lips and continued to smile. "Ping'er girl, you're really capable now. You actually opened such a big restaurant. I'm so happy to see you. When I get back, I'll be proud of you." Zhao Ping'er was in a good mood after being licked by Liang Jinfen. She naturally knew that Liang Jinfen was being insincere. However, she liked to hear people flatter her because it made her feel better. Especially when Liang Jinfen used to look down on her, but now she was licking her boots. This contrast made her feel very proud. After a few words of flattery, Liang Jinfen began to say, "Ping'er girl, I see that your parents are sitting in the restaurant. Your family is preparing to eat. Since second aunt is here and your family's opening is a joyous occasion, why don't we eat too? We'll add to the fun." Zhao Ping'er glanced at Liang Jinfen. She knew that Liang Jinfen had a lot on her mind. She said, "There are many people in my restaurant today. They're probably too busy to eat. You don't have to add to the fun. If you're paying for the meal, then forget it. If you're not paying, then don't come. Hurry up and leave. Liang Jinfen's expression froze. He didn't expect Xiaoping to be so stingy. Since she said that she would eat, then she definitely wouldn't pay. Otherwise, how could she be taking advantage of him? However, if he left just like that, Liang Jinfen wouldn't be satisfied. He continued, "Aya Pinger girl, you're so capable. You've already earned so much money. Why do you care about our meal? I'm your second aunt. I see that old Zhao's family is eating. Although they're your father's relatives, your mother's relatives are also relatives. Why didn't they bring us along?" Zhao Ping was very unhappy when she heard this. What an annoying second aunt. She could invite whoever she wanted to. What did it have to do with her? It wasn't as if her family couldn't finish the food in her restaurant. Why would she waste it on people like Liang Jinfen? Just as Zhao Ping was about to chase them away, Qin Yuan walked over and said to Zhao Ping, let them come in and eat. Chapter 21:15. Qin Yuan curled his lips and raised his chin, looking smug and arrogant. Liang Jinfen was afraid that Zhao Ping would interfere and stop them from eating. He hurriedly pulled Su Zhaodi and Su Lady in. "Ping lass, let's find a seat in the room first. There are too many people here. If we're late, we won't be able to find a seat later." Zhao Ping could not stop him in time. Liang Jinfen directly rushed into the restaurant. Seeing Liang Jinxiao like that, Zhao Ping was a little angry. Who was he? He usually liked to gossip. Once there was an opportunity to take advantage of others, he would be more proactive than anyone else. Great, now she had to give Liang Jinfen's family a free meal. Big brother Yuan. Zhao Ping looked at Qin Yuan with a face full of resentment. She said with some dissatisfaction, "Big brother Yuan, how could you let them in to eat? You don't know how annoying my second aunt's family is." Qin Yuan said, "It's just a meal. It doesn't cost much anyway." Zhao Ping complained unhappily. "It doesn't cost much, but it's still money. We can't waste it. Especially when it benefits people like them. Big brother Yuan, don't you know how annoying they are? Just treat it as feeding money to a dog. Next time this pug eats my food, it will have to wag its tail, right? They looked down on us previously. In the future, they will have to lower their heads in front of us. Zhao Ping spending money is a small matter. Earning back your face is a big matter. You don't want others to look down on you, right?" After hearing Qin Yuan's words, Zhao Ping thought about it and felt that it did make some sense. For so many years, no one looked up to her. Now that she had finally made a name for herself, she had to let others fawn over her. "Big brother Yuan, you're right. Just treat it as feeding money to a dog. We can't be calculative with a dog." Qin Yuan's lips curled up. His face revealed a sense of satisfaction from venting his anger. After the restaurant opened, there was an endless stream of customers. Many people came over. Almost all the tables and chairs in Zhao Ping's restaurant were occupied by customers. Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan invited old Zhao's family to come over. As a member of the restaurant, Ma Xiaofeng invited Qian Chuanxiu and Ma Xiaoyu to eat together since it was the first day of the restaurant's opening. Qian Chuanxiu and Ma Xiaofeng were also very happy. Looking at such a magnificent restaurant and thinking that Ma Xiaofeng could also get some money, Qian Chuanxiu was even happier. She felt that this restaurant was like her own. This restaurant was owned by Qin Yuan and Zhao Ping. Although she only paid a small part of the money, she could still get a share of the profits. Because the two of them couldn't chase her away. After all, she was the one who made the pigs offal. If they didn't open a restaurant with her, she would definitely set up a stall and continue to sell pigs offal. If she sold pigs offal and the restaurant sold it, the restaurant wouldn't have any advantage. Moreover, she would definitely sell it cheaper than the restaurant. People weren't fools. If they wanted to eat pigs offal, they would definitely spend money here. Who wouldn't complain about having more money and be willing to spend more money? However, the money she paid was really too little. Basically, it was Qin Yuan who took the money. She only got 10% of the restaurant's profit commission. Ma Xiaofeng was very clear in her heart. 10% of the profit wasn't a small amount. No matter what, it was more than before. Moreover, it was more worry-free. Speaking of which, opening a restaurant was also more glorious than setting up a stall. Mother, go and sit with Yin'er's family. Their table is big and can fit 2 people. Ma Xiaofeng pointed at the table where old Zhao's family was sitting. However, Qian Chuanxiu was a little unwilling. Why should she go and sit with old Zhao's family? Chapter 21:16. Thinking about what happened between her and Zhao Wenshui last time, Qian Chuanxiu hated old Zhao's family. Now seeing old Zhao's family made her angry, let alone having a meal with them. By then, before she even ate, she might have already started a fight. I'm not going. Seeing those people makes me upset. I don't want to eat at the same table with them. Qian Chuanxiu said unhappily, clearly expressing her attitude and position. Ma Xiaofeng frowned and was a little embarrassed. Qian Chuanxiu pursed her lips and continued to say, Xiaoyu and I can just find a table and sit down. Anyway, we don't want to sit at the same table with old Zhao's family. Ma Xiaofeng sighed and had to follow Qian Chuanxiu's temperament and arrange a table for Qian Chuanxiu and Ma Xiaoyu alone. The reason why she let Qian Chuanxiu and Ma Xiaoyu eat with old Zhao's family was that she wanted Qian Chuanxiu to eat more. Otherwise, Qian Chuanxiu and Ma Xiaoyu couldn't eat much at the same table. After all, 2 people couldn't eat much at the same table. At most, they would be full after eating a few dishes. They wouldn't have the chance to taste many dishes. It would be different if they sat at the same table with old Zhao's family. There were more people and more food. They could have a good meal with a few more dishes. Otherwise, it would be boring to be full after eating a few dishes. However, Qian Chuanxiu didn't want to sit at the same table with old Zhao's family, so she wouldn't say anything about it. If she felt that the dishes weren't enough, she could take some back with her. Anyway, the restaurant was in her hands, so it wasn't difficult to get more food. Ma Xiaofeng arranged a table for Qian Chuanxiu and Ma Xiaoyu. Then there was a noise outside. Zhao Ping'er stood outside and called Ma Xiaofeng a few times. Xiaofeng, come here. What's wrong? Ma Xiaofeng had just finished asking when she looked up and saw several relatives of her family. They were her uncles and aunts, as well as her grandparents. Zhao Ping'er said angrily, Ma Xiaofeng, your relatives said that they would also come to the restaurant to eat. Now that there are so many people in the restaurant, how can we arrange everything? Ma Xiaofeng frowned and replied, I didn't. When did I call them over? Ma Xiaofeng's relative shamelessly came over and said to Ma Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, I heard that you have a share in this restaurant. Since it's opened, we as relatives naturally came to join in the fun. Zhao Ping'er brought her whole family over to eat. As her uncle and aunt, shouldn't you invite us over to eat as well? As for these relatives, Ma Xiaofeng was extremely disgusted. How could she let them take advantage of her? For so many years she didn't have a father, so she was very unfamiliar with the people of the Ma family. When her family was in trouble, no one was willing to help, so now she couldn't let these people take advantage of her. Somewhat angrily rolling her eyes at these people, Ma Xiaofeng unhappily replied, You guys are dreaming. Why should I let you eat? Hurry up and leave. Don't take advantage of me. With that, Ma Xiaofeng began to push them out. The Ma family members were also a little unhappy and mocked. Haha, Xiaofeng, didn't you just open a restaurant? Now that you're rich, have you forgotten your surname? Chapter 21:17. That's right. Now that you're rich, you don't recognize us anymore. Who do you think you are? You're not filial at all. Haha, at least she knows that her surname is Zhao and knows to invite her family over to eat. You, on the other hand, are not sensible at all. Xiaofeng, you're our Ma family's seed. Although your father is no longer around, you can't just not recognize us. Uncles and aunts are still uncles and aunts. Blood is thicker than water in a family. No matter how rich one can't forget one's roots, understand? The people of the Ma family spoke one after another in a dignified and righteous manner. When Ma Xiaofeng heard the Ma family's words, she was almost disgusted. When her father passed away, these people did not reach out to help. What was worse was that they knew that she had a small family and kept bullying her. Those uncles and aunts actually wanted to snatch the few acres of farmland that her father left behind in the world. Fortunately, Li Jing stepped in and upheld justice, not letting the few acres of farmland in the family be taken away by others. These people from the Ma family did not care about their friendship, and even stepped on them when they were in trouble. But now that she was starting to become rich, these people shamelessly came over to ask for benefits. Could it be that these people's memories were that bad? Could it be that they had completely forgotten how they treated her family in the past? Ma Xiaofeng's face darkened. Facing the Ma family, she really could not bring out her good temper. She spat on the ground and scolded. Haha, what blood is thicker than water? What *T relatives? Why didn't you mention it when my family was poor? All of you even avoided us, afraid that my mother and I would come over to ask for food. Now that I've opened a restaurant, you're hoping to take advantage of it. Do you really think we're stupid? Don't talk to me about family. My father died long ago. It was my mother who raised Xiao Yu and me. It has nothing to do with you. You didn't help my family in the past, so don't expect to get any benefits from me now. The Ma family members were a bit like scoundrels. It wasn't easy for them to travel so far and arrive at the town today. They just wanted to freeload a meal. Now that Ma Xiaofeng chased them away, of course they were not willing to leave just like that. Little phone girl, it seems that you really don't intend to acknowledge us poor relatives? You're so calculative about the past. You're really holding a grudge. But Xiao phone girl, I still have to remind you that if you stay in Shuilan village, you will need someone to help you. If you offend us relatives, let's see who will help you when your family is bullied. You two are orphans and widows. You don't have a man at home. If you are really bullied, no one will stand up for you. That's right. Let us have a meal now, and we won't pursue what you said just now. If anything happens to your family in the future, as relatives, we can at least protect you. Ma Xiaofeng felt an indescribable sense of disgust when she saw the Ma family's attitude of giving her alms. She didn't like to hear those words. She just felt very unhappy. Ma Xiaofeng continued to drive them away. Go, go, go. Who needs your help? When our family is rich in the future, what kind of trouble can we run into? Even if there was trouble, there was nothing money couldn't solve. I don't need your help. Chapter 21:18. Zhao Ping who was listening at the side, said sarcastically, Xiaofeng, your relatives are here to take advantage of you. Of course you can't believe their nonsense. If you let them eat you once, and they don't blame you for the second and third time, they will continue to let you eat them. Our restaurant is used to make money, not for relatives to eat and drink. If they come here often, we won't be able to do business anymore. It's better to use it to entertain relatives. How can we make money? I guess we will have to close down after a while. Ma Xiaofeng's words and Zhao Ping's ridicule and sarcasm made the Ma family feel embarrassed. Looking at the dishes being cooked in the restaurant, the Ma family couldn't help but want to go in and eat. Even if Ma Xiaofeng didn't agree, they must rush in and have a meal. Xiaofeng, you're so stingy. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Stingy is stingy. Don't talk nonsense. Let's go in and have a meal. I don't believe this girl is shameless enough to ask us for money. The Ma family said and didn't care so much. They squeezed together and prepared to go into the house. After Ma Xiaofeng saw it, she was impressed by the Ma family's shamelessness. It seemed that if she didn't show them her power, they would treat her as a sick cat. She must teach these relatives a lesson. Zhao Ping was also very impatient and said with disgust, Xiaofeng, why are you talking to these shameless people? Just tell them to get out. Hearing Zhao Ping's words, Ma Xiaofeng picked up the broom beside her and waved it at the Ma family. Get out of here. Don't think about going in to eat and drink. I said that I won't let you eat, so don't come here shamelessly. Otherwise I'll deal with you one by one. Facing Ma Xiaofeng's fierce look, Ma Xiaofeng didn't know if it was because Ma Xiaofeng's eyes were too intimidating, but the Ma family was a little scared. However, they were unwilling to be driven away by Ma Xiaofeng. Originally, the other branches of Ma Xiaofeng's family felt uncomfortable when they got rich. If they didn't take advantage of her now, they wouldn't feel good. The Ma family's bolder people stepped forward, wanting to go into the restaurant. They originally thought that Ma Xiaofeng was just threatening them. Who knew that Ma Xiaofeng's broom really would fall on their bodies? Ah! The relative who was beaten cried out in pain. The other relatives were shocked. Xiaofeng, you. Let's just forget it. Let's go. It's just a meal. It won't be worth it if you get injured. Xiaofeng. If we really make a fuss, she won't be able to reason with us even if we go to the officials. But Xiaofeng is obviously crazy. I don't want to be beaten. It's not worth it if I get hurt and suffer losses. The more cowardly relatives already took a step back and planned to leave. At this time, Ma Xiaofeng's grandfather stepped forward to reprimand them. He accused Ma Xiaofeng of not being sensible and hitting her own elders. Later, he would chase Xiaofeng's family out of the clan. In the future, even if they died, they wouldn't be buried together with the Ma family. The Ma family still thought too highly of themselves. Ma Xiaofeng didn't care about their threats at all. Chapter 21:19. If you don't want to bury them, then don't bury them. Who cares? Just hurry up and get lost. Ma Xiaofeng continued to wave the broom. Zhao Ping was a little anxious after watching from the side. Xiaofeng, aren't you being too nice? Aren't you being too polite to them? If you chase them away like this, when will you be able to drive them away? These people are all shameless. Why are you being so polite to them? Really? After Zhao Ping muttered a sentence, she eagerly rushed into the restaurant's kitchen. Then, she took out a bucket of swill and said to the Ma family, "Are you leaving or not? If you don't leave, the swill in this bucket will be poured on your body." The swill had an unpleasant rancid smell. If it got on the body, it would stink to death. Seeing this, the Ma family couldn't continue to stay. Let's go. Xiaofeng girl treated us like this. We will remember it. What are you, unfilial to your elders and still expecting to have great prospects? This restaurant better close down after a few days. In the future, you won't be able to earn money. The Ma family's attitude was really disgusting. After their mouths were full, they resentfully left. After being disturbed by the Ma family, Ma Xiaofeng's good mood was suddenly ruined. After Zhao Ping watched the Ma family leave, she coldly snorted. Then, she turned to Ma Xiaofeng and said, "Xiaofeng, next time they are like this, you must not be polite to them. The more you give them an inch, the more they want a mile. Just like me, I don't believe that they won't be afraid of splashing swill on them." Ma Xiaofeng pulled the corner of her mouth. "Sister Ping, I know. It's good that you know. Ai Xiaofeng, you are too kind." She was kind? Ma Xiaofeng couldn't help but want to laugh. This was the first time someone said that she was kind. She was just used to being bullied. In the past, her mother took care of her and her younger brother. She didn't know how many times they were bullied. Her behavior just now, in the eyes of the Ma family, was definitely going to turn the sky upside down. "Sister Ping, let's hurry up and get busy. There are a lot of people here today, so the restaurant must be very busy." Ma Xiaofeng hurriedly nodded. Okay. Let's hurry up and get busy. We'll be busy for the next few days." The two of them had already entered the restaurant. Fortunately, the waiters had all worked in other restaurants before and were experienced. Although there were a lot of people, they weren't so busy that they couldn't figure out the directions. They were still orderly. The tables in the restaurant were all full. Some of the customers who couldn't eat went to other restaurants. Those who were free were lining up in front of the restaurant. Zhao Yun'er tasted the dishes that were served. The taste was not bad. It was the usual taste of a restaurant. This kind of taste was not very outstanding. With this kind of taste, the business would not be too bad, but of course it would not be too good either. The only specialty was the pig's offal. However, Zhao Yun'er knew that the pig's offal was not bad. Especially the pig's offal that was made according to her method. Many people liked it. Back then Zhao Ping's stall sold pig's offal so well. One could imagine how much the people of Yang City liked it. However, with only this dish, Everyone could eat it for a period of time. After eating too much, they wouldn't want to eat it anymore. Without the pig's offal, the restaurant couldn't innovate and the business would be greatly affected in the future. Old Zhao's family ate at the same table. Zhao Yun'er ate a little and was full. She didn't want to eat anymore and continued to play with Tian Tian at the side. Chapter 21:20. In Mu Lianfeng's opinion, these dishes were not even half as good as Zhao Yun'er's. Compared to Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng, the rest of old Zhao's family ate very happily. They did not have much to eat normally, and now that they finally had a meal, how could they let it go so easily? All of them ate as much as they could, as if they were hungry ghosts that had crawled out of hell. Old Zhao's family was very shrewd, and they only ate the fish. The more oily and expensive the fish, the more they ate. They did not even touch the vegetables. After eating, their stomachs obviously bulged a lot. In the end, when they could not eat anymore, they looked at the table full of delicious dishes and stopped eating. As long as they could still eat, they would definitely continue to stuff their stomachs. Zhao Yun'er did not know what to say about old Zhao's family. But she knew that not only old Zhao's family was like this, but the others were also like this. When they were almost done eating, there was still a lot of food left on the table. Liang Jinfen felt that it was a pity that there was so much food left, but they could not eat anymore. Some plates had more than half a bowl of red braised pork left. It was a mixture of fat and lean meat, and when one bit into it, one's mouth would be covered with oil. Liang Jinfen called out to Su Lady and Su Zhaodi, "You two eat. You only ate so little, and you can't eat much. If you don't eat now, you won't have anything to eat later. Don't go home and tell me that you want to eat." Su Lady touched her stomach and looked at Liang Jinfen pitifully. She said to Liang Jinfen, "Mother, my stomach is only so big. I've already eaten enough. How can I eat more?" "Then Zhaodi should eat more. Your body is not good to begin with, so you should eat more. Look at how skinny you are now, and your in-laws are not good either. They don't cook more good food for you, and they make you work every day. Aren't they afraid that your body will be exhausted?" Liang Jinfen grumbled unhappily. How could she not feel heartache for her daughter? Ever since Su Zhaodi gave birth to her daughter, the attitude of her husband's family changed greatly. Su Zhaodi had led a good life in the Huang family, especially when she was pregnant. Not only did he not have to do much work, but he also often bought her delicious food to nourish her body. Now the Huang family was very ruthless. Even though Su Zhaodi had just given birth, they didn't let Su Zhaodi do a few days of postpartum confinement before making her work in the fields. Forget about that. The most important thing was that not only did he have to work, but he also couldn't eat well every day. His body couldn't nourish itself, and coupled with the overwork, he was on the verge of collapse. Liang Jinfen looked at his daughter. She had lost at least 5 kilograms, and there was not a single ounce of meat on her body. Unfortunately, her daughter was married. She couldn't decide the life of her grandmother's family, and she didn't have enough money to let her daughter live a good life. She could only watch her daughter suffer. Who asked her daughter to be in the same situation as her? Her stomach was not good enough, and she gave birth to a good-for-nothing. If she had given birth to a son, it wouldn't have ended up like this. Now, she could only hope that she would give birth to a son next time, so that Su Zhaodi could regain some status in her husband's family. But now that she wanted a child, it would be difficult for Su Zhaodi to conceive. She had just given birth, and her vitality was greatly damaged. Su Zhaodi looked at the table full of delicious food. She had eaten a lot of fish and meat, but now, like Liang Jinfen and Su Lady, she couldn't eat anymore. Chapter 21:21. Liang Jinfen rolled his eyes at Su Zhaodi. "Why can't you two eat? If your father were here, he would definitely eat a lot." "Mother, father is a man. Of course he would eat a lot. We can't eat that much," Su Lady grumbled. "Sigh, it's a pity that your father likes to stay at home and doesn't want to come out. Otherwise, he would be able to eat a good meal with us. He would be able to eat a lot of fish and meat." Liang Jinfen looked regretful, as if he had suffered a great loss. "Mother, the 3 of us ate a lot anyway. This meal is worth it," Su Lady comforted her. That's true. At least the three of us ate enough. Sigh, there's so much left on the table. It's such a waste if we can't finish it. Zhaodi, are you sure you don't want to eat a little more? If you don't eat, you won't be able to eat anymore. Su Zhaodi still shook her head. Mother, I really can't eat anymore. If I could, I would definitely be stuffed into my stomach. All right then. Liang Jinfen sighed. Su lady's eyes turned and she said to Liang Jinfen, Mother, if we can't finish it, we can bring some back. There's so much left on the table anyway. If we don't bring it back, it'll be a waste. Liang Jinfen thought about it and agreed. Anyway, these were all leftovers. If no one ate them, it would be a waste if they didn't bring it back. Thus, he called the waiter over and brought a few pieces of butter paper over. He looked at the leftovers on the table and picked out the delicious and greasy ones to wrap up. When old Zhao's family saw Liang Jinfen's actions, they couldn't help but complain. This person is really too much. He only wants to take advantage of others. He even wants to wrap up the leftovers to bring back. The one who spoke was Feng Zhangxia. Usually, her mouth was very poisonous. She didn't care if her words would make others feel uncomfortable. As soon as Feng Zhangxia finished speaking, Hua Chunhua looked at Liang Jinfen with some dissatisfaction. She stared at Liang Jinfen's hand movements with her cloudy eyes. Her mouth moved, and she cursed under her breath. They are all third brother's relatives from his wife's side. None of them are good. It's fine that we came over to eat, but they are shameless enough to come over. One meal wasn't enough, and now he's taking it all back. Does he really think Ping Er's restaurant is his own? How infuriating. Mother, if you want to blame someone, blame it on third sister-in-law. How could she have such a relative who even dares to disgust our old Zhao family? Old Zhao's family was dissatisfied with Liang Jinfen. Zhao Yin originally didn't want to get involved, but Zhao Xinhui actually pointed the spearhead at Liang Jinxiao. Liang Jinxiao didn't do anything and was now unjustly implicated. Naturally, Zhao Yin couldn't stand by and watch. Younger aunt, your words are really interesting. My mother didn't decide which relative she has. How can you blame her? If it were up to me, I wouldn't want to have relatives like you. It's so annoying. After Zhao Yin'er finished speaking, Zhao Xinhui glared at Zhao Yin'er angrily. You wretched girl. Are you only thinking of making people angry? What's wrong with us? We are much better than your second aunt. Chapter 21-22. Zhao Xinhui was infuriated by Zhao Yin'er's words. TCH. If you dare to spout nonsense again, I'll tear your mouth apart. What? Auntie, are you angry out of humiliation? I'm only speaking the truth. You can't deny it even if you don't want to. In any case, young ladies are a joke in the village. Zhao Xinhui's anger was ignited by Zhao Yin'er's words. She knew that her relationship with young Master Huang was ridiculed by the villagers. But she hid at home every day to avoid the gossip. Her life was as carefree as before, and she didn't care that she was the target of ridicule. Now Zhao Yin'er's words were like a reminder to her. It was nothing more than rubbing salt on her wound. How could she stand it? Zhao Xinhui's eyes were red with anger. Her long fingernails were about to scratch Zhao Yin'er's mouth. Zhao Yin TCH. I'll tear your mouth apart, and see what else you can say. However, before Zhao Xinhui's hand could reach Zhao Yin, Mu Lianfeng's tall figure blocked Zhao Yin'er's way. Zhao Xinhui stumbled towards Mu Lianfeng. Mu Lianfeng reached out and pushed Zhao Xinhui away. Zhao Xinhui couldn't withstand the force from Mu Lianfeng's hand and fell. Ah! Zhao Xinhui landed heavily on the ground. Her butt was hit so hard that her pelvis almost broke. Zhao Xinhui's face contorted in pain, and she almost cried. It really hurt. Master Shitzi didn't know how to treat a woman with tenderness. He was too harsh on her. Mu Lianfeng's cold voice rang out above Zhao Xinhui's head. I've already warned you many times. If anyone dares to lay a hand on Yin, I won't be merciful. If you have the guts, you can try. Mu Lianfeng's cold voice carried a kind of authority that didn't allow for hesitation. Everyone present was intimidated by Mu Lianfeng. Zhao Xinhui took a while to regain her senses. She had forgotten that Zhao Yin'er had Mu Lianfeng's backing. With Mu Lianfeng's status, how many people dared to offend him? Unless they didn't want their lives. Huier, how many times have I told you not to bicker with Yin? You just wouldn't listen. Now you're suffering, aren't you? Hua Chunhua scolded Zhao Xinhui, then turned to Mu Lianfeng with a fawning smile. Master Shitzi, please don't bicker with my girl. She's not sensible. Mu Lianfeng snorted coldly. It's the father's fault for not teaching her well. Since she's not sensible, as her mother, you should educate her well. Don't let her continue to be so unruly. Hua Chunhua was so frightened that she hurriedly replied, Yes. Master Shitzi is right. I'll definitely educate her well, so that she won't continue to cause trouble like this. Only then did Mu Lianfeng retract the coldness on his face. His sharp gaze shifted away from Zhao Xinhui. Hua Chunhua heaved a sigh of relief. She was actually a little worried that Mu Lianfeng would get angry and do something to Zhao Xinhui. After all, they were just ordinary people, and Mu Lianfeng was the master Shitzi. If they angered Mu Lianfeng, the consequences would be very serious. Zhao Xinhui was obviously frightened by Mu Lianfeng, and didn't dare to continue bad-mouthing Zhao Yun. She sat on the ground, and was in so much pain that she didn't dare to make a sound. She looked aggrieved. Hua Chunhua quickly walked in front of Zhao Xinhui, and pulled Zhao Xinhui up from the ground. Chapter 21-23. Zhao Xinhui had a bitter expression on her face as she nodded in response. Mother, do you even need to say it? Of course it hurts. My butt feels like it's rotten. Sigh. Hua Chunhua sighed heavily, her heart aching. Go back and get some ointment. Apply it and rub it. It should be fine. Zhao Xinhui replied pitifully, Okay, mother. I have to apply the ointment properly. Otherwise, I don't know when my butt will recover. Got it. Hua Chunhua sighed. She really didn't know what to say to this daughter of hers. Yinner, how are you? You didn't get a fright, right? Mu Lianfeng turned around and moved closer to Zhao Yunner, asking with concern. Unlike before, Mu Lianfeng's tone was much gentler. He could only put on such a good temper when dealing with Zhao Yunner. Zhao Yunner shook her head. Fortunately, you blocked it in time. Nothing happened. That's good. Mu Lianfeng was relieved. But I don't know if Tian got a fright. Zhao Yunner patted Tian who was in her arms. When Zhao Xinhui shouted at her just now, Tian was obviously stunned, as if she had been frightened. Children were like this. They were more timid and couldn't withstand a sudden shout. After Zhao Yunner patted her a few times, Tian's mood eased a lot. She was very obedient in Zhao Yunner's arms and looked at Zhao Yunner with her big cute eyes. Yeah, Tian cried out a few times. Tian, you didn't get a fright? Zhao Yunner teased. Yeah. Tian waved her little fist again. Unfortunately, Zhao Yunner didn't understand what Tian meant. The commotion caused by Zhao Yun attracted the attention of Liang Jinfen and his family. Su Zhaodi looked at the child in Zhao Yunner's arms and couldn't take her eyes off him. The little child was in Zhao Yunner's arms. She was wearing silk clothes and looked like a little rabbit. She was soft and cute and made people feel sorry for her. Zhao Yunner held Tian's butt with one hand and Tian's back with the other. Zhao Yunner was very familiar with taking care of children. Tian was held in Zhao Yunner's arms. Obviously, she thought of Zhao Yunner as her own mother. If one didn't know, they would think that Tian was Zhao Yunner's child. However, the truth was only known to those who understood the situation. When Su Zhaodi saw the little girl in Zhao Yunner's arms, her heart trembled, and there was an indescribable feeling. She looked at Tian, and her gaze was completely attracted to Tian. Was this her daughter? She saw Tian once when she was just born. The child was wrinkled and very thin when she was just born. She was not as cute and chubby as she was now. At that time, she had no choice but to abandon Tian. Who asked Tian to be a girl? If Tian was a boy, not only would she not have to abandon him, but the Huang family would also treasure him very much. Even if she was a girl, she was abandoned and suffered with her. After Tian was taken away by Zhao Yunner, Her life was troubled by this kind of thing. She couldn't even take care of herself, let alone miss this child. Now that she saw Tian Tian, Su Xiaodi found that she had an indescribable feeling. That little girl was her biological daughter. Chapter 21-24. Su Xiaodi couldn't help but stand up and walk towards Zhao Yiner's table. Liang Jinfen and Su Lady saw her and asked, "Xiaodi, where are you going?" "Yes, sister, where are you going?" Su Xiaodi glanced at the child in Zhao Yiner's arms, then looked at Liang Jinfen and Su Lady. There was a touch of loneliness in her eyes, and her lips trembled as she said, I saw my baby. I want to go and see." After Su Xiaodi finished speaking, she was a little afraid that Liang Jinfen would reprimand her. She stole a glance at Liang Jinfen. As expected, Liang Jinfen's reaction was similar to what she had expected. Liang Jinfen's face was cold as she said unhappily, "It's just a good-for-nothing. What are you looking at? There's nothing to see." "But mother, I want to go and take a look. Just one look is enough. After all, she's a child that I carried for a few months." A mother had a very special feeling for her child. It would have been better if she hadn't seen it, but now that she had seen it, she couldn't pretend to ignore it. "Don't look. If you see it, you'll only think about that good-for-nothing. You'll probably miss it. Right now you should take care of your body and give birth to a chubby little boy. That's the best thing to do. Mother." Su Xiaodi looked deeply at the child in Zhao Yin's arms and couldn't bear to look away. Su Lady said, "Mother, if you can't do it, let sister go. It's just one look. If you don't let her go back, she'll miss it every day." Liang Jinfen looked at Su Xiaodi and then at Su Lady. She felt a little sad, especially when she saw Su Xiaodi's reluctant expression. She wasn't a heartless person. When she saw Su Xiaodi like this, it was as if she had done something unforgivable. She could only say, all right. Hurry up and go. Just one look is enough. Don't look too long." "Yes, mother." Su Xiaodi responded and then walked towards Zhao Yiner. Not long after, he arrived in front of Zhao Yiner. Zhao Yiner did not expect Su Xiaodi to suddenly come over, and was startled. Then, she saw Su Xiaodi staring at the baby in her arms and understood Su Xiaodi's intention. She was here to see Tian Tian, because Tian Tian was her biological daughter. However, Zhao Yun clearly remembered that Su Xiaodi had abandoned Tian Tian. If it weren't for her, it was unknown whether Tian Tian would have survived. Su Xiaodi was just an unqualified mother. She had worked so hard to give birth to her child. How could she treat her like this? If it were her, no matter what others said or what her in-laws did, she would never abandon her child so easily. Even if she had to give it her all, she would not let her child suffer any grievances. "Yin, can you give me a hug?" When she got closer and saw Tian Tian in Zhao Yiner's arms, Su Xiaodi found that there was an indescribable feeling in her heart. She was very much looking forward to being able to hold this soft and tender child, even if it was just for a while. As Su Xiaodi spoke, her pleading eyes fell on Zhao Yiner. Zhao Yiner looked up and saw that Su Xiaodi's eyes were filled with tears. It was as if she would be very sad if she rejected her. Zhao Yiner's heart also did not feel good. She didn't want to talk to a mother who treated her child like this. Chapter 21-25. In the face of Su Xiaodi's pleading, Zhao Yiner replied indifferently, "Didn't you say you didn't want her anymore? Why did you come here? Do you want to hug her now?" Su Xiaodi understood Zhao Yiner's meaning. It was obvious that Zhao Yiner was rejecting her. There was a touch of loneliness between her eyebrows, as if she had encountered something very sad. Su Xiaodi's reaction made Zhao Yiner even more uncomfortable. It made her look like a bad woman who had stolen someone else's child. Su Xiaodi opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but couldn't. Tian Tian, who was in her arms, also saw Su Xiaodi. Probably because of the blood connection, Tian Tian's big round eyes fell on Su Xiaodi as if she was sizing her up. She's my daughter. It's my fault for abandoning her, but now that I see her, I want to hug her. Let me hug her, okay? Su Xiaodi begged, almost kneeling in front of Zhao Yun'er. Yeah, Tian Tian, who was in her arms, also called out a few times. She glanced at Tian Tian's pink and tender face, then looked at Su Xiaodi. Su Xiaodi was much thinner than the last time she saw her. Her thin figure made people feel sorry for her. Zhao Yun'er took a deep breath. She thought she could be cruel, but seeing Su Xiaodi like this, she still couldn't do it. Zhao Yun'er sighed and said indifferently, "You can only hug her for a while." Okay. Su Xiaodi cried tears of joy and looked at Zhao Yun'er excitedly. Zhao Yun'er handed Tian Tian, who was in her arms, to Su Xiaodi. This child was very obedient and wasn't afraid of strangers. Basically, she would accept anyone who held her. Usually, the family took turns to hold her, so Zhao Yun'er wouldn't be so tired. If the child relied on someone, then the person who relied on her would have a hard time. Su Xiaodi took Tian Tian. The child's body was soft and small. There was a sweet milky fragrance on her body, which was very pleasant to the nose. After hugging Tian Tian, Su Xiaodi felt a strange feeling in her heart. Thinking that Tian Tian was her child, the desire to hold Tian Tian tightened. Yun'er, what's her name? Su Xiaodi asked. It was her child, so she should have named the child. But now that the child was handed over to Zhao Yun'er, it was Zhao Yun'er's child. The name was now decided by Zhao Yun'er. Tian Tian, her name is Tian Tian. Zhao Yun'er replied. Su Xiaodi murmured Tian Tian's name, then hugged Tian Tian and played with her. Seeing Tian Tian giggling, a sweet smile appeared on Su Xiaodi's face. It wasn't until she hugged her child that Su Xiaodi felt what it was like to be a mother. She began to regret it. How could she agree to not want such a cute child back then? She was really muddle-headed for a moment. Now, she had caused an irreparable ending. If she could go back to that time, she would definitely keep Tian Tian by her side instead of abandoning her like now. After 10 minutes of hugging Su Xiaodi, Zhao Yun'er began to urge her. Cousin, it's almost time. Give Tian Tian back to me. Sister Yun'er, let me hold her for a while, okay? Su Xiaodi couldn't bear to put down the child and begged. Chapter 21-26. Sister Yun'er. Su Xiaodi hugged Tian Tian, even tighter. Zhao Yun'er saw that Su Xiaodi wasn't listening to her, so she hurriedly stepped forward, wanting to snatch Tian Tian back. However, Su Xiaodi took a step back and avoided her. Zhao Yun'er frowned and asked, Cousin, what do you mean by this? Are you trying to snatch the child from me? Su Xiaodi's face darkened slightly, then she looked pleadingly at Zhao Yun'er and said, Sister Yun'er, I know that I shouldn't have left Tian Tian behind, but I had no choice at that time. Can you return Tian Tian to me now? I'm Tian Tian's mother, so this child should be mine. I'll raise her well in the future, and I'll never abandon her like I did in the past. Zhao Yun'er was speechless. She was the one who had abandoned Tian Tian, and now she was the one who wanted to go back. Tian Tian was a child, not an object that could come and go as she pleased. Since she had made such a decision back then, she shouldn't regret it now. There was no medicine for regret in this world. If everyone was like this, there wouldn't be any regrets in this world. Cousin, are you joking with me? Zhao Yun'er sneered and asked. Su Xiaodi made her stance clear. Sister Yun'er, I'm not joking with you. I really want Tian Tian. I want to raise her by my side. Please return Tian Tian to me. I beg you, Tian Tian is my biological daughter. I really can't bear to part with her. Zhao Yun'er smirked and said sarcastically, Cousin, have you forgotten what you said before? Since you've done it, don't accept the consequences. Now you're in front of me and asking me to return Tian Tian to you? Are you going back on your words like this? Su Xiaodi looked at Zhao Yun'er apologetically. Sister Yun'er, what I did was wrong. I shouldn't have done it back then, and now I want to make up for it. As long as you return Tian Tian to me, I'm willing to do anything. Su Xiaodi's words made Zhao Yun'er even more uncomfortable. If she hadn't wanted Tian Tian from the beginning, it would have been fine. Tian Tian was Su Xiaodi's child. She couldn't have snatched her child from Su Xiaodi. But now that Tian Tian had been raised by her for a few months, she already had feelings for her. Wasn't it a joke to ask her to return Tian Tian to her at this time? Even if it was a dog that he had raised for such a long time, he would have developed feelings for it. It was impossible for him to give it away casually. Su Xiaodi's words sounded more like she was a human trafficker who stole people from her mother. Zhao Yuner sneered and replied to Su Xiaodi, "Cousin, what are you talking about? I'm not asking you to do anything. If you really want Tian Tian back, then fine, you have to pay me back the few taels of silver I gave you." When Su Xiaodi was sent to the medical hall, she had spent a few taels of silver on the medical expenses. It was Zhao Yuner who paid for it. Zhao Yuner had paid for Tian Tian. If Su Xiaodi really wanted Tian Tian back, she would definitely have to pay her back. However, Zhao Yuner wasn't concerned about that little bit of silver. She just wanted to find a reason to refuse Su Xiaodi. Looking at Su Xiaodi's current state, she probably couldn't take out a few taels of silver. Sure enough, when Su Xiaodi heard Zhao Yuner's words, she looked a little conflicted and embarrassed. Chapter 21-27. Zhao Yuner coldly refused. "No, if you want a child, you have to give me the money immediately. I don't accept credit here." Su Xiaodi frowned and looked at Tian Tian in her arms. She clenched her fists tightly for a moment. I'll go talk to my mother and ask her to lend me some money," Su Xiaodi said weakly. She really didn't want to let go of Tian Tian. But she knew that her husband's family didn't like her daughter, so it was unrealistic to ask them for money. Now she could only ask her mother for help, and ask her to lend her some money. As soon as Su Xiaodi finished speaking, Liang Jinfen scolded. "You wretched girl, really? What are you doing with this useless thing? Wasting a few taels of silver." Facing Liang Jinfen's sullen face, Su Xiaodi weakly replied, "Mother, just lend me a few taels of silver. I'll return it to you in the future. Tian Tian is my daughter. It would be better if I didn't see her, but now that I've seen her, I really can't bear to part with her. Mother, this is a child that I carried for several months after all. I can't bear to part with her." Facing Su Xiaodi's pitiful appearance, Liang Jinfen's heart didn't feel good, but he still said, all right, isn't it just a useless thing? You're treating her like a treasure. Xiaodi, let me tell you, I don't have much money on hand. Don't even think about it. Also, you have to understand, even if you get this useless thing back, what are you going to do? Bring her back to your husband's family? Will your husband's family agree to let you take this useless thing back? You can't even protect yourself, yet you're still thinking about this nonsense. Hurry up and return her to Yuner. After Liang Jinfen's words, Su Xiaodi finally came to her senses. Liang Jinfen was right. Even if she got Tian Tian back, what could she do? Bring Tian Tian back to the Liang family? The Huang family wouldn't accept it at all. They were always looking forward to having a son. They already had several granddaughters, so the Huang family wouldn't raise another granddaughter. She was also a woman and did not have much ability. She relied on her in-laws to support her. She probably could not even support Tian Tian herself, let alone support Tian Tian. Thinking of this, Su Xiaodi felt an indescribable sense of defeat. She wanted to fight for her child, but reality was hitting her hard. While Su Xiaodi was in a daze, Liang Jinfen took Tian Tian out of Su Xiaodi's arms and handed her to Zhao Yuner. Then she lectured Su Xiaodi, "Don't think too much about it. Go back and take care of your body. Try to get pregnant again and give birth to a boy. Then you will have a good life in the Huang family. If you keep this money-losing girl by your side, she will only cause you trouble. Why don't you give her to Yuner? Yuner's family is rich. Tian Tian will have a good life with her. What can you give her if she follows you?" Su Xiaodi was so upset that she couldn't speak. What Liang Jinfen said was the truth, but she was unwilling to accept it. Tian Tian, who was back in Zhao Yuner's arms, was very happy. She hugged Zhao Yuner's cheek and nibbled on it. It was obvious that Tian Tian was closer to Zhao Yuner. She treated Zhao Yuner as her own mother. Looking at the past few days, Zhao Yuner had raised a prematurely born and thin child to be white and chubby. It was obvious that Zhao Yuner took good care of her. Her mother was right. Tian Tian's best choice was to be raised by Zhao Yuner. Chapter 21-28. Liang Jinfen was afraid that the longer Su Zhaodi stayed, the more reluctant she would be to leave. At that time, something would happen again. Naturally, he took Su Zhaodi away early. Anyway, she was full and had packed a lot of food. This meal was not a loss. Mother. Su Zhaodi's eyes fell on Tian. Let's go. Liang Jinfen tugged at Su Zhaodi and dragged her away. Looking at Su Zhaodi's back as he left, Zhao Yun'er's heart was also upset. Tian seemed to be fine. Because she was too young, she did not know that Su Zhaodi was her biological mother. What Zhao Yun'er was worried about now was that Su Zhaodi did not want Tian this time. What about in the future? What if one day she had money and power? Would she take Tian away from her? At that time, she and Tian's relationship would be deeper. Who would be willing to give the child they had raised for so many days to someone else? Mu Lianfeng seemed to see Zhao Yun'er's worry. He put his arm around Zhao Yun'er's shoulder and comforted her. Yun'er, don't worry. As long as I'm here, no one can take Tian away. Zhao Yun'er responded. Even if Mu Lianfeng was not here, she would not allow anyone to take Tian away. She had worked so hard to raise her child. How could she give it to someone else? At noon, old Zhao's family had eaten and drank well together. They touched their stomachs and prepared to go home. Zhao Ping, and the others were still busy in the restaurant. The popularity of the business was a little shocking. If the business could be as good as 1/3 of this in the future, the restaurant would make a lot of money. Old Zhao's family secretly envied Zhao Ping. In the future, they would definitely make a lot of money and their lives would be comfortable. When they went back because it was late, the ox cart back to the village had already gone back. Old Zhao's family couldn't find an ox cart, so they wanted to hitch a ride on Zhao Yun'er's horse and cart. It would be fine if there were only a few people, but with so many people, her Xiao Mao and the carriage wouldn't be able to carry them all. It was already crowded enough for the whole family to sit in the car, not to mention bringing in a few other people. In the face of old Zhao's family's request, Zhao Yun'er angrily refused. My family's car is only so big. It can't seat many people. You can either walk back or rent a car for 30 copper coins. Don't even think about taking my car. 30 copper coins was neither too much nor too little. People from the countryside were more thrifty. They were reluctant to spend a single copper coin, let alone 30 copper coins. Of course, other than spending money. It was already noon, and the sun was blazing above their heads. It was extremely hot. If they were to return home, they would be oily from the heat. Their bodies wouldn't be able to take it at all. It was a bumpy ride back home. His butt hurt when he got home. If he were to sit in Zhao Yun'er's car, it would be different. He would be able to get home quickly and it would be much more comfortable. Liang Jinfen came over and smiled embarrassedly. With a hint of flattery he said to Zhao Yun'er, Yun'er girl, it's inconvenient for my pan, to bring yang. Why don't you bring my yang and pan, 2 more people won't make a difference. When Shen Pan, heard this, she also wanted to go back with Zhao Yun'er. After all, she was usually spoiled and rarely took the ox cart when she went out. Chapter 21-29. Many people in the countryside didn't pay attention to hygiene, or they didn't use perfume when bathing. In this hot summer, the smell on the body couldn't be removed. After a long time, the unpleasant smell would remain on the body. Shen Pan usually liked to be clean, so when she smelled that smell, she would want to vomit. If she had to sit in the ox cart and squeeze with so many people, she wouldn't be able to stand the smell on the body. It was different if she could sit in Zhao Yun'er's carriage. The carriage was spacious and comfortable. She wouldn't be too tired if she sat in Zhao Yun'er's carriage. They would reach home very quickly. She thought it was a small matter. Since Feng Zhangxia had asked, Zhao Yun'er wouldn't refuse. Who knew that Hu Chunhua would interrupt? Eldest wife, your younger sister isn't feeling well. Her butt was injured so badly just now. She can't stand the bumpiness of the ox cart. If she gets bumpy again, the injury on her butt will be very serious. It will be very difficult to treat. After Hu Chunhua finished speaking, Zhao Xinhui very cooperatively touched her butt and shouted a few times, Yes, yes, sister-in-law, my butt hurts. Pan. Doesn't have any injuries on her body, so I can just hold her in my arms. Yin'er's carriage can't seat so many people, so it's better to give this seat to me. After Zhao Xinhui finished speaking, Shen Pan'er's face darkened. She wasn't very happy. Ever since she came to old Zhao's house, Zhao Xinhui had basically taken all the good things in the house first. The others could only let him have it. If they didn't comply, Hu Chunhua would scold them. Grandmother, but Yang Yang is still young. He rarely sat in the ox cart. He made a lot of noise. He only stopped making noise when he sat in the carriage. Younger aunt is an adult. Just bear with it. Yang Yang is still a child. It's hard to coax him when he's willful. Shen Pan, said with a conflicted expression. Unlike the other people in old Zhao's house, Shen Pan, would fight for many things herself. No matter what benefits he obtained, he couldn't just give it to others and suffer. What she meant was that Zhao Xinhui was an adult. Since he was an adult, he should be sensible and not be calculative with a child. Hu Chunhua pulled a long face. If he can't be coaxed, then let him cry for a while. Although he's a child, we can't let him do whatever he wants. Your aunt's injury is the most important thing. Hu Chunhua's tone was very strong. If they disobeyed him, he would be furious. Shen Pan'er felt even more uncomfortable. Just as she was about to say something, Zhao Yun'er jumped out and said, "You don't need to discuss who will get on my carriage. I won't bring anyone. You should all squeeze into the bullock cart and go back together." Yun'er girl, why are you so stingy? Isn't it just an ox cart? You won't let me? Can't you see that your younger aunt's injury is so serious? Will you only be happy when her butt is broken on the bullock cart? Hu Chunhua jumped out and reprimanded her unhappily. He glared fiercely at Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er only found it funny. He curled his lips and replied to Hu Chunhua. Grandmother, I think you're here to be funny, right? Have you forgotten how younger aunts but got injured? If you didn't provoke me, would it have become like this? Now you're reaping the consequences of your own actions. You still want to take my family's ox cart back. Chapter 2130. Hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, Zhao Xinhui and Hu Chunhua both turned pale in anger. Hu Chunhua pointed at Zhao Yun'er. You're too cruel. Zhao Yun'er smiled and asked back. Grandma, don't you know best whether I'm cruel or not? You haven't seen what I can do before, and you haven't suffered in my hands before. Being stared at by Zhao Yun'er coldly, Hu Chunhua couldn't help trembling for a moment. How could she forget? She wasn't afraid of Zhao Yun'er at all. This wicked girl was capable of doing anything when she wanted to. She even dared to splash feces on people's faces. However, every time she suffered, she would remember it for a few days. The next time she met Zhao Yun'er, she would be mad at Zhao Yun'er again. Knowing that she couldn't offend Zhao Yun'er, Hu Chunhua turned to look at Liang Jinxiao and criticized Liang Jinxiao. Jinxiao, look at your daughter. She's getting more and more capable now. She doesn't care about her elders at all. How can a daughter talk to her elders like that? Liang Jinxiao pursed her lips and said, Mother, Yun'er has grown up now. She has her own thoughts, ideas and plans when doing things. Even as her mother, I shouldn't meddle too much. Fine. Hu Chunhua was even angrier when she failed to win a verbal argument with Liang Jinxiao. Zhao Yun'er was amused when she heard that. It seemed that her mother was becoming more and more enlightened under her education. If it was in the past, Liang Jinxiao would never say such words. Grandma, don't say that my mother didn't teach me well. If you have time, you should teach my aunt more. Compared with my aunt, I'm nothing. Zhao Yun'er replied calmly. Zhao Xinhui clenched her teeth in anger. She glared at Zhao Yun'er and shouted, Zhao Yun'er, you bitch. What do you mean? Aunt, don't you understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying what I mean on the surface. You bitch, I don't need to be taught. You're the one who needs to be taught a lesson. Zhao Yun'er retorted. It's still better than being shameless like you, auntie. Zhao Xinhui couldn't win a verbal argument against Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Xinhui was so angry that she wanted to rush to Zhao Yun'er and slap Zhao Yun'er several times. However, before she could do it, Mu Lianfeng glared at her and stopped her. She really forgot the pain after the scar healed. The injury on her but was caused by Mu Lianfeng. If she provoked Zhao Yun'er now, wouldn't she be asking for trouble? Mom. Zhao Xinhui looked at Hu Chunhua pitifully. She wanted Hu Chunhua to teach Zhao Yun'er a lesson. Hu Chunhua wasn't a fool. She knew that Zhao Yun'er wasn't easy to mess with. Although her daughter was wronged, she couldn't blame her. She could only say, "All right, Huier, don't argue with someone. It's fine that she doesn't want to take you with her. Let's not care about it either. Otherwise, we'll be caught by her and be angry." "But Mom, I don't want to take the ox cart back. It's so bumpy and so slow." Hu Chunhua patted Zhao Xinhui's shoulder and comforted her. "Huier, we have a lot of money now anyway. I can rent a carriage for you." Zhao Xinhui rolled her eyes. Why didn't she think of that? It was just a matter of spending a little more money. She still had a lot of money in her hands. In the future, the restaurant in Qinyuan would definitely make a lot of money. Since she didn't lack money, she didn't need to care about how much money she spent. Chapter 2131. Zhao Yun'er sneered. This pair of mother and daughter were really childish. She had never thought of competing with them in these matters. However, it was also good that she rented a carriage to go back. It would save her the trouble of keeping an eye on her family. When Feng Zhangxia heard this, her eyes lit up. She had an idea in her heart. She giggled as she moved in front of Hu Chunhua and said to Hu Chunhua, "Mother, you want to rent a carriage? This carriage can fit a lot of people. Why don't you bring Pan and Yangyang back with you?" Zhao Xinhui glanced at Feng Zhangxia. Thinking of what Shen Pan said just now, she snorted and replied, No, I won't bring a single person. It's just me, father, and mother. It won't be crowded with so many people in the carriage." Hu Chunhua was once again obedient to her daughter. "Then it'll be just the three of us. It's rare for us to be able to ride a carriage, so we should enjoy it. It's not good to have so many people." Feng Zhangxia and Shen Pan's expressions were a bit ugly. In their hearts, they were cursing Zhao Xinhui for being stingy. However, it was Zhao Xinhui who paid for it. If she didn't let them, they couldn't rely on her. When Shen Pan thought of riding the ox carriage back, her head hurt. Zhao Yun'er didn't pay attention to those people. She called for the family to get on the carriage and left. The carriage and little Mao were very fast. They arrived at their home in a short while. Nothing much happened in the following days. Their lives were more or less the same every day, but it was a very comfortable life. After a heavy rain, the weather cooled down a bit, and they passed the hottest part of the day. However, it was time to harvest rice. Nowadays, most of the villagers planted early and mid-season rice, which was harvested during summer and autumn. Because there was a lot of rain today, the weather wasn't very good. The rice was soaked in water for a long time and didn't grow very well. The harvest of 1 mu of farmland was at least 30% less than last year. This kind of result was quite serious for the farmers. Because farmers basically planted their own rations. A decrease in the harvest meant that the family didn't have enough rations. The rations that they planted weren't enough to eat. Once the rations shrank, it meant that the family would have to be frugal with their rations for the next year. I'm afraid that this year has been rather difficult for everyone. If it weren't for Zhao Yun'er, the family wouldn't have so much money and the third branch would have had a hard time this year. Now that they had money, they could afford to buy food even if the price of food increased. From time to time, they could eat some meat. There was no lack of meat and fish at home. Even so, Zhao Wenhua often sighed at home about how bad the harvest was and how hard it was to live. Zhao Wenhua wasn't talking about his own family. He was worried about old Zhao's other brothers. He was most concerned about Zhao Wentao. Zhao Wentao had a good relationship with the third branch, and he often helped the third branch. The third branch and Zhao Wenhua were closer. Now that it was time for the grain harvest, the fourth branch's harvest was insufficient, and they had to feed their children. She was afraid that their days would be more difficult. Seeing Zhao Wenhua's anxious appearance, Zhao Yun'er comforted Zhao Wenhua. With her around, if the fourth branch really couldn't survive, they could naturally reach out to help. The fourth branch didn't accept the benefits given by the third branch for free, but they could find something for the fourth branch to do and pay them. After hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, Zhao Wenhua's worries were relieved. Chapter 2132. Mu Lianfeng was free these days, so Mo Yan alone could take care of the work on the mountain. Seeing that all the men in his family were working in the fields while he did nothing at home, Mu Lianfeng felt embarrassed. When they were having dinner that night, he said, "Can I go harvest rice with you tomorrow? I have nothing to do at home anyway. With more hands, we can finish harvesting the rice sooner." Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao, who were having dinner at the table, paused for a second and hurriedly said, "Prince Mu, how can we trouble you with this kind of rough work in the countryside? In fact, there are only a few acres of land left to harvest. You don't need to do it." "Yes, Prince Mu, what you do every day is important. The rough work in the countryside is not for you to do. You can stay at home with Yun'er. If you feel bored, you can ask Yun'er to accompany you. Yes, we can handle the work in the fields. You really don't need to get involved." Mu Lianfeng felt a little helpless. He just mentioned it, but Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao rejected him so straightforwardly. Did it mean that he really didn't have a chance? "Uncle, Aunt, I can do it. As long as you teach me a little, I should be able to do it. Every day, Uncle and Tianan come home covered in sweat. I can't just sit at home and do nothing. If I do, I will feel guilty." Mu Lianfeng couldn't help but argue. Zhao Wenhua still refused. "Prince Mu, it's really not necessary. This kind of rough work is not for someone of your status. If you insist on working in the fields, it will be too much for us." Mu Lianfeng sighed. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao had always called him Prince Mu. Although he would be their son-in-law in the future, because of his status, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao didn't dare to overstep their boundaries. Of course, Mu Lianfeng knew very well that this era was like this. The hierarchy was strict, and no one dared to overstep the nobles. At this moment, Mu Lianfeng wished that he was just an ordinary person without the title of heir apparent. That way, he would be able to interact with Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao like an ordinary son-in-law and his in-laws. Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yun'er, hoping that Zhao Yun'er would help him. Zhao Yun'er laughed and said, "Do you think it's so easy to harvest rice? It's easy to get tanned after a whole day under the sun. Look at how tan my father and Tianan are. Aren't you afraid of getting tanned?" As soon as Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, Zhao Tianan cooperatively stretched out his arm and said to Mu Lianfeng, "Yes, brother-in-law, I got tanned after a day under the sun. You can tell by looking at my arm. I don't know how long it will take for it to become white after being tanned like this." Mu Lianfeng didn't care and said, "It's nothing. It's just a little tanned. It's not a big deal for a man to be a little tanned. It's not a big deal." Zhao Yun'er said, "That won't do." "Yun'er, why?" Mu Lianfeng asked in confusion. "You won't be as handsome when you're tanned. You look better when you're white. Haven't you heard of a saying? A white skin can hide 100 ugliness. It's better to be whiter." Chapter 2133. Zhao Yun'er chuckled and said to Mu Lianfeng, "Being handsome is your advantage. If you're handsome, it'll be easier for me to fall in love with you. If you get tanned, aren't you afraid that I'll fall in love with someone who's more handsome than you?" Zhao Yun'er was obviously joking, but Mu Lianfeng turned to look at Yi Li, who was eating beside him. In terms of appearance, Yi Li was also very beautiful and was comparable to him. However, if he got tanned, he definitely wouldn't be as handsome as Yi Li. Unfortunately, Yi Li lived in Zhao Yun'er's house, so they often saw each other. It was said that love grows with time. If Yi Li was more handsome than him, it was possible that Zhao Yun'er would fall in love with him. Yi Li felt a burning gaze falling on him. As a result, he raised his head and met Mu Lianfeng's eyes. They were both men. Yi Li sensed the hostility from Mu Lianfeng's eyes. He choked on his food and couldn't help coughing. In order to get rid of Mu Lianfeng's suspicion of him, Yi Li looked to Zhao Yun'er and begged Zhao Yun'er in a weak voice, "Miss Yun'er, please don't tease His Highness. I'm afraid that I'll be beaten by him." Although he was good at kung fu and was confident that he could defeat Mu Lianfeng, no one wanted to cause trouble for him. In particular, a man was very likely to risk his life for the woman he liked. Ha ha ha. Zhao Yuner laughed, then said to Mu Lianfeng, I'm just kidding. My father and Tianan often do it, so they're used to it. However, you're different. You've never done this kind of work before, so you're not used to it. Mu Lianfeng originally wanted to say that he could endure it, but Zhao Yuner stopped him. Of course, I don't want you to do this kind of work, because I care about you. Can you bear to make me sad? Hearing Zhao Yuner's words and looking at the faint smile on Zhao Yuner's face, Mu Lianfeng's heart was as sweet as honey. He didn't insist this time and said to Zhao Yuner, Yuner, I won't work in the field then. Zhao Yuner smiled and replied, Good boy. If you feel bored, you can play with Daodu at home. You can also help me take care of Tian. Sure. Mu Lianfeng answered. Yili looked at Mu Lianfeng and Zhao Yuner's eyes. When they looked at each other, their eyes were like stars. They only had each other in their eyes. Yili's heart ached. After all, as a man, he didn't want the woman he liked to be sweet with another man. Even though he often told himself that it would be fine as long as Zhao Yuner was happy, he still couldn't control himself many times. Just like now, he couldn't control his heartache. Originally, he ate the table full of delicious food that Zhao Yuner made for him very happily. Now he couldn't taste anything. Instead, there was a bitter feeling spreading in his mouth. On the other side, in Old Zhao's courtyard, Old Zhao's several branches also came back from heaven and earth exhausted. The first branch's family had Zhao Wenshi and Zhao Tianhu to harvest the fields. There weren't many people, so the harvesting speed was slower. The fourth branch only had Zhao Wentao, so the harvesting was even slower and more difficult. Now every family was busy harvesting their own rice. Not to mention that they were reluctant to spend money. Even if they were willing to spend money, it was difficult to hire someone to help harvest. When Zhao Wenshi and Zhao Tianhu came back from the fields, they were covered in sweat. Chapter 2134. When Feng Zhangxia saw Zhao Wenshi and Zhao Tianhu enter the courtyard, she called out to them, Hurry up and wipe your bodies. Once you're done, we can prepare to eat. Zhao Wenshi sniffed and asked, I smell that today's food smells particularly good. Why is that? Feng Zhangxia said, Today's food was cooked by Zhu'er. Zhao Wenshi was pleasantly surprised and asked, So it was Zhu'er who cooked it? It's really good. It smells good. Jinju was a little embarrassed by Zhao Wenshi's praise. She smiled shyly and replied, Father, you're too kind. We'll know if it's good or not after eating it. Zhao Wenshi replied without hesitation, It's good, it's good. It's definitely good. Feng Zhangxia also praised, It's really good. I didn't know that Zhu'er was so good at cooking before, so I didn't let her cook. Today, I tried it for the first time. I didn't expect her to show off her skills. Her cooking is much better than mine. Our family also has someone who can cook. We'll have a good meal in the future. Jinju lowered her head and greeted them with a smile. Father, hurry up and wash up. Once you're done, we can eat. Okay. Zhao Wenshi answered happily. Zhao Tianhu glanced at his wife from the side, and a sweet smile appeared on his face. Hearing his parents praise his wife, a sense of pride emerged in his heart. It was good to have a wife. At this moment, he was also a little impatient to try his wife's cooking. Xinpan was sitting in the courtyard with Zhao Yangyang. When she heard Feng Zhangxia and Zhao Wenshi's words, she felt very uncomfortable. Ever since she married into the family, Feng Zhangxia and Zhao Wenshi often praised Jinju, but they rarely praised her. In the past, they would think of her whenever there was something good. Now they only thought of Jinju. Although she didn't care for some things, she still felt uncomfortable when faced with this situation. Looking at the smile on Jinju's face, Shenpan felt like it was an eyesore. Zhao Wenshi carried a bucket of water to the courtyard. Together with Zhao Tianhu, they took off their clothes and wiped their upper bodies with a cloth to wipe off the sweat on their bodies. They were only temporarily wiping themselves off so that they could eat. They didn't want their stinky sweat to dirty the food. After eating, they would have to take a bath again. The two men were shirtless, especially Zhao Tianhu, whose muscles were exposed. He had a good figure. Although his skin was a little dark, his muscles gave off a sense of strength. Women with such a good figure couldn't help but sigh when they saw it. That was because Jinju was Zhao Tianhu's husband. Jinju had seen Zhao Tianhu's entire body, let alone him being topless. Therefore, she looked at him generously without much embarrassment. But Shen Pan'er was different. Zhao Wenshi and Zhao Tianhu were shirtless and wiping themselves off in the courtyard. She was also in the courtyard, so she couldn't help but accidentally see it. Zhao Tianhu's firm chest and strong arms were deeply imprinted in Shen Pan'er's mind. Shen Pan'er's face turned slightly red, and she hurriedly looked away. Unlike Zhao Tianlong, Zhao Tianhu often worked in the fields. When he had the chance, he would go to Hang City in town to help earn money. He worked a lot, so he wasn't like Zhao Tianlong. He looked gentle and weak, but Zhao Tianhu's figure was clearly one with strength. Chapter 2135. Zhao Tianlong's body was relatively weak, so he could only last for a few minutes. Every time they did it, Shen Pan'er would feel that Zhao Tianlong had already finished before she could satisfy him. Every time it ended, Shen Pan'er would feel a little lonely. If only Zhao Tianlong could be half as good as Zhao Tianhu in that aspect. Thinking about this, Shen Pan'er remembered that Zhao Tianlong had not returned for a long time after he went to the capital to study. It was equivalent to her staying alone in the house for a long time. As a woman, sometimes she couldn't help but hope that her man would play with her. In the past, it was fine when she was inexperienced, but after experiencing it and knowing how comfortable it was, she felt uncomfortable after not doing it for a while. On the other hand, because Jinju could be with Zhao Tianhu every day, she could do it with Zhao Tianhu every day. In this aspect, Shen Pan'er was very envious of Jinju. Just as she was thinking about these messy things, a mocking voice came from the courtyard. It was Zhao Xinhui. However, Zhao Xinhui wasn't targeting her, but Jinju. How shameless. You clearly saw my elder brother and Tianhu naked, yet you still looked. Your eyes can't even leave Tianhu's body. Don't you know how to restrain yourself? Why did our old Zhao family marry such a slutty woman? Zhao Xinhui's voice was very sharp and loud, as if she was afraid that others wouldn't hear her. Zhao Xinhui did this because she wanted Jinju to have a bad reputation and be called a slut by the villagers. She was so picky because she didn't like Jinju. After being scolded by Zhao Xinhui, Jinju lowered her head and looked very sad. She was used to being scolded by Zhou Damei in the Jin family. Basically, when others said that she was bullied, she wouldn't talk back. This time was the same. After Zhao Xinhui scolded her like this, although she felt wronged, she thought that Zhao Xinhui was an elder. If she talked back, she would definitely be scolded. Shen Pan'er and Zhao Yangyang were watching the show from the side. Seeing Jinju's red face, Shen Pan'er couldn't help but feel a burst of joy in her heart. Zhao Tianhu frowned. Seeing that his wife was wronged, he was immediately unhappy. He helped Jinju to reply. "Aunt, what you said is wrong." "What's wrong? Are you siding with this slut?" Zhao Xinhui asked angrily. "Auntie Jura is my wife. What's wrong with looking at my body? Even if I strip naked for her to see, it's fine. How is that shameless?" Zhao Tianhu's words were full of protection. Zhao Xinhui was so angry that his face darkened. Then he said, "All right, Tianhu, it seems like you really dote on your wife. However, this Jinju is a slut. Even if you protect her, it's useless." Zhao Tianhu was also a little angry at Zhao Xinhui. Jinju was his wife. How could he let his wife be insulted like this? He replied angrily, "Auntie, you said that Jua is a slut." She didn't even blink when looking at my naked body. What about you? Aren't you looking at me for a long time now? Zhao Xinhui glanced at Zhao Tianhu and said indifferently, "What's wrong with that? I'm your elder. So what if I look at you? I even saw you bathing naked when you were young." Chapter 2136. Feng Zhangxia couldn't stand Zhao Xinhui meddling in other people's business and targeting Jinju, so she stood out and sneered. That's right, little sister. You're shameless. What's wrong with my family's Jew, or looking at her own man's body? It's not like she's looking at another man's body. Once Feng Zhangxia mentioned Lord Huang, Zhao Xinhui was displeased. It was because of young Master Huang that she had become the laughingstock of the village. Feng Zhangxia was obviously doing it on purpose. You, Zhao Xinhui pointed at Feng Zhangxia in anger. How could her sister-in-law say such things to her? Little sister, don't look for trouble. How did my Jew offend you? Why do you have to hold on to her and not let her go? You're only happy when you bully her. Feng Zhangxia grumbled unhappily. Aunt, next time, you have to look at yourself. You can't be unreasonable just because you're an elder, Zhao Tianhu said seriously. Jinju stood there trembling. She was very happy to see her man and mother-in-law protecting her like this. She felt a little wronged at first, but after hearing Feng Zhangxia and Zhao Tianhu's words, the grievances in her heart were diluted. When Zhao Xinhui was about to lose her temper, Zhao Baoshan came back from his work in the field. Seeing that the whole family was quarreling, Zhao Xinhui knew who was the one who started it. Zhao Baoshan knew his daughter very well. Zhao Tianhu was an honest man, but he still had a conflict with Zhao Xinhui. It wasn't hard to imagine what Zhao Xinhui had said and done. Zhao Baoshan scolded Zhao Xinhui. Do you have nothing better to do? You won't be happy if you don't anger people. Hurry up and go back to your room. Father. Zhao Xinhui wanted to complain, but Zhao Baoshan glared at her fiercely. Zhao Xinhui was frightened by his fierce look. Zhao Xinhui swallowed the words she wanted to say. She turned around angrily and went back to her room. Feng Zhangxia said to Zhao Baoshan, Father, luckily you're here. Otherwise Jua would bully us again. Zhao Baoshan sighed helplessly. Hey, don't argue with that girl. She's used to being willful. Father, we don't want to argue with her, but she keeps causing trouble for no reason. We don't like it. She shouldn't do that. Please forgive her. I'll help her scold her when I see her. Since Zhao Baoshan said that, Feng Zhangxia didn't complain anymore. Even though she disliked Zhao Xinhui, she wasn't soft bun. She had to fight back when she needed to. She couldn't let Zhao Xinhui bully others. If it was in the past, Zhao Xinhui could still give in since she had young Master Huang as her backer. After all, she would be able to reap some benefits. But now that Zhao Xinhui was divorced by young Master Huang, it was impossible for her to reap any benefits like before. Zhao Baoshan sat on a stool in the courtyard and wiped the sweat off his forehead. He had gone to harvest rice as well. He had a few mu of land in his hands, and the grain he planted was enough for him to eat. However, because he had separated from the main family, he had to do the work himself. He couldn't count on his son who had separated from the main family. Chapter 2137. Zhao Baoshan felt a little depressed at the thought that there was still a lot of rice to be harvested. Seeing that Zhao Wenshi had just finished bathing, Zhao Baoshan asked casually, Boss, how's the harvesting of the rice in your family's fields? Zhao Wenshi replied, Tianhu and I harvested a little faster, so we've already harvested half of the rice. Zhao Baoshan nodded. The two of them were indeed a little faster, so they had already harvested half of the rice. His old body and speed were a little slower than Zhao Wenshi and Zhao Tianhu. Ahem. Zhao Baoshan coughed violently. Zhao Wenshi hurried forward and asked, Dad, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? I don't know why, but my chest feels stuffy. I've been feeling a little uncomfortable these days, Zhao Baoshan said honestly. Zhao Wenshi frowned and tried to persuade him. Dad, if you're not feeling well, you should rest for a few days. Don't harvest rice in the fields these days. Zhao Baoshan shook his head. How can I do that? If the weather changes one day, the rice will be soaked by the rain. It's safer to harvest it as soon as possible. But Dad, you're not feeling well. After all, Zhao Baoshan was Zhao Wenshi's biological father. Zhao Wenshi wasn't very filial, but he still had a little conscience. Zhao Baoshan thought for a while, then discussed with Zhao Wenshi. Boss, why don't you help me harvest the rest of the rice? Without waiting for Zhao Baoshan to finish, Feng Zhangxia jumped out and unhappily replied, Father, my Tianlong's father and Tianhu are also busy harvesting the rice at home. Where would they find the time to help you harvest? Zhao Baoshan's face darkened. Since Feng Zhangxia said so, he didn't want to say the rest of his sentence. Zhao Wenshi was worried about Zhao Baoshan's health, so he said weakly, Why don't I help you harvest the rice after Tianhu and I finish harvesting the rice at home? Feng Zhangxia poked Zhao Wenshi with her elbow, then glared at Zhao Wenshi and said, How can you be so free? You'll be exhausted after harvesting the rice at home, and you'll have to rest in bed for a long time. Do you have so much energy to harvest rice for others? Zhao Wenshi suddenly felt a little embarrassed. He wanted to help Zhao Baoshan harvest the rice, but he was afraid that Feng Zhangxia would be angry. Besides, harvesting the rice was indeed very tiring, so he could only give up. Zhao Baoshan snorted softly. He was a little disappointed with the people from the first branch. When there was something good, they always wanted to take advantage of it, but when it came to this kind of thing, they kept rejecting it, afraid that they would be taken advantage of. At this time, Zhao Wentao walked over and overheard the conversation between Zhao Baoshan and Zhao Wenshi. He said, Dad, there's not much rice left at home. I'll help you harvest it after I finish harvesting it. Zhao Baoshan's sight fell on Zhao Wentao. He praised Zhao Wentao in his heart. Among the few sons in the family, Zhao Baoshan's third and fourth son were very good. After going through these things, the comparison became more obvious. Chapter 2138. After listening to Zhao Baoshan's words, Feng Zhangxia was stunned. What did this old man say? Give all the rice harvested by Zhao Wentao to Zhao Wentao? There were a few acres of rice, and there were thousands of pounds of rice. It was worth a lot of money. How could he give so much rice to the fourth branch for free? They were all a family, and the first branch should at least get some of it, right? Feng Zhangxia asked with a pale face. Father, why did you give so much rice to fourth brother? Although Feng Zhangxia didn't say it clearly, Zhao Baoshan knew what Feng Zhangxia meant. Just now, when there was no benefit for the first branch to harvest the rice, the first branch refused. Now that there was benefit, they wanted it again. Zhao Baoshan snorted softly and replied, Just now, I wanted to ask your first branch to help me harvest the rice. I'll give you the rice, but you refused and said that you can't harvest it, so forget it. Now that fourth brother is willing to harvest the rice, I'll give all the rice to him. Hearing Zhao Baoshan's words, Feng Zhangxia felt a sudden pain in her heart. She was so stupid just now. Why didn't she listen to Zhao Baoshan and refuse? Now she lost such a big piece of meat. Feng Zhangxia even wanted to die. However, for the sake of the rice, Feng Zhangxia still said shamelessly, Father, you didn't say it clearly. If you said it earlier, Tianlong's father would help harvest the rice even if he was a little tired. You didn't listen to me, and now you're blaming me. Forget it. Eldest brother is weak. After he finishes harvesting the rice, he can rest. I'll let fourth brother harvest the rice for me. Father, fourth brother definitely can't handle so much rice alone. Why don't we let Tianlong's father help us harvest the rice? Feng Zhangxia still insisted. She was unwilling to give up such a big advantage so easily. Zhao Baoshan glanced at Feng Zhangxia indifferently. All right. It's just a little rice. How can fourth brother be so busy? You guys were the ones who refused first. It's not that I didn't give you a chance. Now that I've said that I'll give it to fourth brother, your first branch should stop thinking about it. Zhao Baoshan's tone was very firm. Feng Zhangxia knew that there was no room for discussion. There was nothing he could do but feel regret in his heart. He could only watch helplessly as the great benefits were taken away by the fourth branch. Father, I can help you harvest this rice. You don't have to give it to me. Zhao Wentao said naively. Hundreds of thousands of caddies of grain were given to him for free, and he would feel embarrassed if he accepted it. Zhao Baoshan waved his hand. I said I'll give it to you, so I'll give it to you. Take it. Today's harvest wasn't good, and you have several children to feed. It's always good to have more food. Father, it's not a problem. I can do more work to earn money. You don't have to worry about me. Zhao Baoshan was a little unhappy. You child, really? I said I'll give it to you, so I'll give it to you. Why are you refusing? If you refuse again, I won't be happy. Looking at Zhao Baoshan's calm face, Zhao Wentao could only say, Father, that's fine. I'll take these rice. But later on, if you lack food, you can directly come to my place to get it. Zhao Baoshan responded. In his heart he sighed. Fourth brother was much better than eldest brother. His words and actions made people feel more comfortable. It was definitely better to give these rice to the fourth branch than to the first branch. Chapter 2139. Zhao Wentao glanced at Feng Zhangxia's pale face. He knew that his sister-in-law was unhappy, so he sighed and didn't say anything more. In fact, he didn't want to take the grain from the several acres of land. After all, it was indeed a great advantage. However, Zhao Baoshan said so he had no choice but to follow Zhao Baoshan's decision. Feng Zhangxia's face was cold the whole time when the people of the first branch were having lunch together. She didn't want to show her face, but thought that it was a pity that she missed such a great advantage. The dishes on the table were delicious with Jin Ju as the cook, but Feng Zhangxia couldn't eat a single bite. She was upset, so no matter how delicious the food was, she couldn't eat it. Feng Zhangxia held her bowl and didn't move. She sighed deeply and said, Hey, what should we do now? The fourth branch earned a few acres of grain for nothing, and we didn't get a single penny. Alas. Seeing Feng Zhangxia's sad face, Zhao Wenshi sipped a glass of wine, then put down the glass. All right, we've already given the grain to the fourth branch. What else can we do? There's no medicine for regret in this world. If you hadn't stopped me and let me harvest the grain for father, the grain in the several acres of land would have been ours. When Zhao Wenshi didn't say anything, Feng Zhangxia's heart ached even more. How would I know? If I knew that you wouldn't let me do it, I wouldn't have done it even if you begged me not to. Zhao Wenshi smiled and drank another glass of wine. So sometimes don't refuse to do it. The more you're afraid of losing, the more you'll lose. Look at our fourth brother, he's willing to lose. Didn't he make a profit this time? The corners of Feng Zhangxia's mouth twitched, and she said with displeasure, I know. Although she said that, Feng Zhangxia still didn't want to lose. Feng Zhangxia finished the meal a little gloomily. She washed up early and went to bed. Zhao Wentao and Zhao Baoshan chatted for a while. He could harvest the millet in the fourth branch's rice field by himself, and he could also help harvest the several mu of rice fields in Zhao Baoshan. However, Zhao Wentao discovered that the rice grains in the second branch's fields had not been touched yet. If they didn't harvest a few mu of rice, how could they just throw it away like that? Today's food prices were definitely expensive. A few mu of farmland would be worth a lot of money. However, Zhao Wenshi was still lying in bed after being injured last time. He had no intention of getting up, let alone harvesting the rice in the field. Father, it's time to harvest second brother's paddy fields. What should we do if second brother doesn't want to get up to harvest? Zhao Wentao asked Zhao Baoshan to see if Zhao Baoshan could come up with any ideas. Zhao Baoshan furrowed his brows and snorted softly. Of course he harvests his own paddy field. Could it be that he expects others to help him harvest? He has been recuperating in bed for so many days. In my opinion, he should have recovered enough to work in the field. Father, I'm afraid second brother won't be willing. If he wanted to harvest the rice, he would have gotten up long ago. If he delayed for a few more days and it rained, the rice grains would be wasted. Although second brother's paddy fields are not well managed, and the harvest is not as good as other people's, at least he can harvest some food. He and Tianyu can have more food, so their lives will be better. Chapter 2140. Saying that, Zhao Baoshan dragged his tired body into the room of the second branch of his family. At this time, Zhao Wenshi didn't close the door tightly. Usually no one would enter his room. After all, no one was willing to clean his room, so it smelled terrible. Zhao Baoshan, however, didn't have much strength at this time, so he walked slowly. His footsteps were very light, so no one heard him. When Zhao Baoshan entered the room, he found that Zhao Wenshui was covered with a sheet, but he didn't move at all. Obviously, he was doing something. Zhao Wenshui's movements continued to speed up. Suddenly, as if he had been released, he let out a comfortable sigh and his hands stopped moving. Seeing this scene, Zhao Baoshan's face immediately darkened. As a man, he didn't need to think to know what Zhao Wenshui was doing. Zhao Baoshan cursed Zhao Wenshui in his heart for being too wretched. He was already a few decades old. Yet he was still hiding in the house doing this kind of thing. Moreover, he didn't close the door tightly when doing it. Luckily, it was him who came in. If it were his wives who came in at this time, he would be scared to death. When Zhao Wenshui finished, he found that the room was much brighter. He looked towards the door and saw Zhao Baoshan glaring at him with a long face. Zhao Wenshui was so scared that he trembled and asked in a trembling voice, "Father, when did you come? Didn't you notice when I came in? Why are you so focused on your work?" Thinking of what he had just done, Zhao Wenshui didn't dare to tell Zhao Baoshan. If he did, Zhao Baoshan would scold him to death. Seeing Zhao Baoshan's angry face, Zhao Wenshui complained in a low voice, "Father, why didn't you tell me that you came in? You're so..." Zhao Baoshan snorted coldly. "What kind of shameful things are you doing at home that I have to knock on your door a few times?" Zhao Wenshui felt guilty and didn't dare to respond to Zhao Baoshan anymore. He mumbled, "Father, I was just joking. I'm here to talk business with you," Zhao Baoshan said with a serious face. He was too lazy to discipline Zhao Wenshui. Most importantly, he knew that Zhao Wenshui would not listen to him. Since he couldn't educate him well, why should he bother? "Dad, what do you want to talk to me about?" Zhao Wenshui asked. "It's time to harvest the rice in your family's fields. Get up tomorrow and harvest the rice." Hearing that, Zhao Wenshui frowned and looked at Zhao Baoshan with embarrassment. "Father, I haven't recovered from my injury yet. How can I harvest the rice?" Zhao Wenshui didn't want to harvest the rice. In fact, he planned to ask his brothers to help him harvest the rice. Based on his understanding of Zhao Baoshan, his father would definitely not be willing to let the rice in the several mu of paddy field go to waste just like that. He would definitely think of a way to help him harvest the rice. In this way, he would be able to slack off and not have to exert himself. While Zhao Wenshui's wishful thinking was going well, Zhao Baoshan's face darkened as he scolded, "Your body is really precious. Haven't you recovered after recuperating for so long?" Zhao Wenshui trembled in fear, but he still murmured, "Father, I haven't recovered from my injury yet. I can't even exert my strength. How can I harvest the rice?" Chapter 2141. Zhao Wenshui blushed for a second. "Father, it's different." "Why is it different? You have the strength to do dirty things, but you don't have the strength to work in the fields? You little brat, you only know how to bluff. Everyone knows that you're just trying to be lazy. Let me tell you, you can't waste the several acres of paddy fields in your family. You don't plant the paddy fields yourself, but Lao San and Lao Si help you with the irrigation and weeding. Now that it's time to harvest, you have to do it yourself. You can't count on others, right?" Zhao Baoshan said with a serious face. If Zhao Wenshui refused, he would probably be scolded again. Zhao Wenshui lay in bed for a long time. He felt that he couldn't even get up to walk, let alone go out to work. If he finished harvesting the several acres of paddy fields by himself, he would probably have to lie in bed for 10 days to half a month. He might even die from exhaustion. Now he was unwilling to do it. Zhao Wenshui rolled his eyes, thinking about what to do. After a few seconds of silence, Zhao Wenshui said in a weak voice, "Father, even if I recover, I can't harvest so much paddy fields by myself. Why don't you help me find some people, and I'll pay them to help me harvest?" Zhao Baoshan was still unwilling to do it. "Find people to harvest for you? Let's not talk about the fact that everyone is busy harvesting paddy fields in this season. Even if you can find some people, is it worth it to hire people to harvest for you given the small harvest in your fields? Lao Er, I know that Jing Er got married and you saved some money. You still have some money left. But no matter how much money you have, you can't afford to waste it like this. If you go on like this, it will run out soon. Tianyu is still young. As a father, if you don't work harder, how can you raise Tianyu? Such a gluttonous and lazy person. I'm afraid he can't even feed himself. Zhao Baoshan said to Zhao Wenshui earnestly. He thought that Zhao Wenshui was an adult and should be sensible enough to listen to him. However, Zhao Wenshui replied, Dad, don't worry about it. I'll go find Jing, or when I run out of money. I'm her father, and I helped her find such a good marriage. I'm really out of money, and I'm starving to death. Jing can't leave me alone, can she? With Jing here, I definitely won't live too badly. Father, you don't have to worry about this. When Zhao Baoshan heard Zhao Wenshui's words, he couldn't help but cough a few times. He was wondering why Zhao Wenshui wasn't worried at all, but it turned out that he had already made up his mind. Jing did marry into a rich family, but as a parent, he couldn't always shamelessly ask for money when his daughter got married. Could he? If the Zheng family knew about it, they would have a bad opinion of old Zhao's family. Zhao Baoshan was a man who cared about his reputation. He didn't want others to say that he was greedy for money. Zhao Wenshui, on the other hand, had really embarrassed him. How on earth did he give birth to such a gluttonous and lazy thing? The more Zhao Baoshan thought about it, the angrier he became, and coughed more violently. Dad, what's wrong with you? Are you not feeling well? Zhao Wenshui asked with concern. Zhao Baoshan found that he couldn't talk to Zhao Wenshui now. He might be angered to death by Zhao Wenshui. Chapter 2142. Zhao Wenshui lay on the bed, feeling a little confused. He didn't say anything wrong. There was no need to worry. If he ran out of money, he could go to Zhao Jing. Anyway, he wouldn't starve to death. His father was just too considerate and looked for trouble. Zhao Baoshan coughed and came out of the room. Then he said to Zhao Wentao, Lao Si, go back and discuss with your eldest brother and third brother. Go and collect the rice in Lao Er's field and keep it for yourself. Don't give it to him. Father, does Lao Er not want it? Zhao Wentao asked with a frown. If he wants it, why hasn't he collected it yet? Zhao Wentao nodded. That's right. Father, we'll collect it for Lao Er later. After telling this matter, Hu Chunhua just finished cooking, so Zhao Baoshan went to eat. There were too many things to worry about at home. He was already so old. When would he be able to stop worrying so much? Maybe she worried too much. In the future, she should worry less about the affairs of the other branches, so that she wouldn't be worried and angry. The others in the first branch finished eating, washed up, and went back to their rooms to sleep. Jinju saw a layer of skin peeling off on Zhao Wenshui's arm. She hurried forward and asked, Husband, what happened to your arm? Zhao Tianhu grinned and said, It's nothing, my wife. It's just that I was exposed to the sun when I was harvesting rice outside. So my skin peeled off. It was the same in the past. After harvesting the rice, I'll just rest at home and be fine. Zhao Tianhu said it very lightly, because he didn't want Jinju to worry. Jinju frowned. It's painful to look at it. How can you say it's nothing? Looking at his wife's distressed eyes, Zhao Tianhu smiled more happily. His big white teeth were shining in the candlelight. Now that he had a wife, the feeling of being distressed was different. It was not like before, when no one cared about him no matter how serious his injury was. Now there was someone by his side all day long, who cared about every little thing that happened to him. This feeling was really wonderful. Jinju looked up, and saw that Zhao Tianhu was actually laughing. She muttered angrily, You're already like this and you can still laugh. Is your brain damaged? Jinju said and gently punched Zhao Tianhu's chest with her fist. Zhao Tianhu grabbed Jinju's hand and grinned. Juer, it feels so good to have you care about me. A blush appeared on Jinju's cheeks. She lowered her head and muttered, You are my husband. If I don't care about you, who do I care about? Hee, my wife, that's why I'm so happy. With your words, even if I suffer heavy injuries, it's worth it. Jinju glared at Zhao Tianhu. What nonsense are you talking about? Who would want to be seriously injured? Wife, I'm just saying, Zhao Tianhu smiled and his face was full of sweetness. Jinju sighed and felt that she had met a silly husband. Continuing to stare at the peeling skin on Zhao Tianhu's arm, Zhao Tianhu said, "Husband, I'll go to Dr. Sun tomorrow to get you some ointment. You should feel better after applying it on your arm." "Wife, there's no need. I'm really fine. If I go to Dr. Sun, I'll have to spend money. After a few days of rice harvest, I'll be fine after resting at home for a few days." Jinju comforted from the side. "Mother, Yinner has given us many times. We can't ask for it every time she cooks it. No one gets their things for free. We should be grateful that Yin can give us so much. Now that she doesn't give it to us, we have nothing to complain about." Jinju's words were very reasonable, and Zhao Yin felt comfortable in her heart. If only Feng Zhangxia was so sensible. Birds of a feather flock together. Zhao Tianhu, an honest man, could marry a wife like Jinju. Zhao Yin nodded and smiled at Jinju, thanking her for speaking up. Jinju also smiled back. Chapter 2144. In this season, if they could have some iced sour plum soup and mung bean soup to drink, the men in the family would feel much better. If they didn't have it, the two men wouldn't be used to it. Feng Zhangxia curled her lips and said to Zhao Yun'er, "Yun'er, what you said makes sense. We shouldn't take it for free. Why don't you sell it to me, and my family will pay for it? Your eldest uncle and second cousin brother work hard in the field. They will feel better after drinking your sour plum soup and mung bean soup." Zhao Yun'er wasn't a stingy person. For the sake of Zhao Tianhu, she agreed with Feng Zhangxia. Otherwise, she wouldn't care about the money she could get from selling it. After cooking a large pot of sour plum soup, Zhao Yun'er sent it to the first branch and other family members. Then she sent some to Mulan. The two of them went to the field together. There were still many families who hadn't finished harvesting the rice. Zhao Yun'er's family had finished harvesting their own rice, and now she was helping the second branch to harvest the rice. However, Mulan's family didn't have enough manpower because there was only Zhu Eru, so they hadn't finished harvesting the several acres of fields. Mulan's heart ached for Zhao Tianhu. However, there was a lot of housework at home. She also had to take care of the 3 children. She didn't have the time to work in the fields and help Zhao Tianhu harvest the wheat. When they arrived at the field, Zhao Yun'er saw that Zhu Eru's back was already soaked with sweat. Because he had been busy in the field these days, Zhu Eru's slightly tanned skin looked darker now. If he continued to be tanned, he would have the potential to be a lawyer, just like an African aborigine. Of course, Zhao Tianhu wasn't the only one like this. In this season, people who harvested rice in the field would be tanned. Mulan held the iced sour plum soup in her hand and shouted at Zhu Eru, who was busy working in the field not far away. "Husband, I've brought you the sour plum soup. Come and drink it. Take a rest." Zhu Eru heard the sound and straightened up. After seeing Mulan, he walked towards Mulan and Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er and Mulan were under the shade of a tree. With the shade of the tree, it was slightly cooler. When Zhu Eru came over, he was covered in sweat. After sitting down, he took a deep breath. Mulan poured a bowl of sour plum soup and handed it to Zhu Eru. Zhu Eru gulped it down in a few mouthfuls. Comfortable, Zhu Eru sighed and wiped his sweat with his sleeve. Mulan smiled and said, "This is all thanks to Yun'er. If it weren't for Yun'er, we wouldn't be able to drink such a delicious sour plum soup." Zhu Eru nodded in response. "That's right, it's all thanks to Miss Yun'er. This thing can't be bought with money." Zhao Yun'er smiled and said, "You're welcome. I just cooked a little more. Haha, it's cold. After a bowl of it, I immediately feel refreshed." Zhu Eru said and poured another big bowl into his stomach. The corner of his mouth showed a satisfied smile. "Husband, do you have a back pain again?" Mulan saw Zhu Eru's back and asked with concern. Zhu Eru smiled as if nothing happened and said, "A little. It doesn't matter." Mulan curled her lips and said, "Every night when you sleep, you cry out in pain. How can you say it's nothing? Let me give you a massage. It will be more comfortable after a massage." As Mulan spoke, she reached out her hand to give Zhu Eru a massage. You're tuning into the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.